My name is Sam, and that's not all. Got a pretty good show with my good friend Paul, so listen up to the chairman of the board. I talk to him and he talks to me. We talk a lot of shit, but you get it for free, so don't complain, these gadgets cost a lot. So now we're at the end of the song, and everybody knows what's going on. What? So here we have the chairman of the, yes we have the chairman of the board. Because we're bored. Because we're bored. Paul, we're live.
Are we live?
I've had to start it.
Have you actually started?
I've started. Don't worry about it. We'll explain why you're slightly late.
Well, I explained. I need to hand in a signal.
Oh, depends who's the singer.
Well, I need to apologise to the fans.
Explain to our audience why you're late, Paul.
Right, basically, there's a story. Today, I went for my lunch to Fraser's Bakery in Socky, right?
I wasn't expecting a story out of this.
This is the opposite of a sponsor message. Fucking stay away from, I swear to God. I had a fucking chicken tikka roll or something, right? And it must have been undercooked or something. I've been to the loo about 4 times since about 7 o'clock, and I consecutively need a poo. Like, so after I finish one, it's like I'm chain pooing, Sam.
Oh, that's
I'm a chain pooer.
That's horrible. So he was in the toilet, and
the nerves were getting to me because I've got folks shouting at me to come and do a podcast.
As people know, I'm a bit of a time Nazi. I like at 9 o'clock start.
I've got nothing. I've got no notes or anything in here, Sam.
11. No, that's fine.
Listening.
That's fine. I've got a few notes.
I put in the ciders in the freezer, Sam. What if they explode during the course of this podcast?
What if what explodes during
the ciders? They'll no freezing to it. That freeze that much in 2 hours.
I thought you were trying to make a joke about something else. Hi everyone, my name is Sam Vallely. This is
Paul Quigley. Ryan Green actually texted me. No, he didn't text me. He sent me a message saying we should start with hello for everyone as a start-up thing. See, I forgot to say it because I was preoccupied.
He's trying to take over the show now. I'm not digging it. No, we're not doing it. Fuck you, Ryan.
Fuck you, Ryan.
Oh, that's so weird. I'm looking over there because that's where the camera usually is. I should be looking down here.
It's weird. It's weird seeing it at a different angle. Mine's my mic looks squints. It looks like I'm on a boat.
Yeah, that can't be helped. Don't worry about it. So welcome to the Chairman of the Board, episode 5. Episode 4 did really good. Like I
was looking today, and that was our most viewed episode was episode 2, and it was 158, and episode 4 reached 158 today as well.
But in all fairness, like, it doesn't matter. Like, we're kind of doing this for us, and that's
but it's just quite cool, like, to see the kind of numbers go up and that. Do you know what I mean?
It's fun if people are watching it, getting any sort of enjoyment out of it. But just to reiterate again, like, this isn't. You're not necessarily going to learn anything from watching this. This is just if you're bored and have nothing else to do.
That's it. Chairman of the board.
Just enjoy it. But, I mean, there's a few things to talk about. First of all, let's talk about this. What am I drinking, Paul?
Frappuccino.
Tell the people.
So am I.
This is. We don't do sponsors or anything, but this is. I love the shit. And, you know, McDonald's is fucking bad for you. I'll tell people right now, stay away from McDonald's. Unless you're going to get a Frappy. A caramel frappe. These things, I'm fucking addicted to these things.
I think they're lovely, Sam. I've got a really sore throat, and it's actually helping me. But I don't know how caffeine makes you a poo as well. Like, I find like coffee wakes my bowels up, Sam.
Right.
But this is cold, so I don't know if it probably was just a chicken from Fraser's Bakery in Socky.
So it's like kind of like bowel medicine, is what you're saying?
No, it's no, wait a minute.
No, this. You said this is good.
No, that's good for my throat because my throat's sore.
Right.
Wait a minute, Sam.
What we forgot?
I'm actually roasting. Can I take my shirt off?
You can take as many pieces of clothing off as you want, Paul. This is your show as much as it is mine.
You can talk now and start on your notes.
We'll just have to put an 18 certificate on the thing if we go too far, but that's alright. So again, if I'm too loud or anything, let me know because it's hard for us to really judge it. If this sounds crap, it looks really low on there actually.
Look at this Sambo.
Wow, how did you get that? Oh no, you got one for me.
I got one for you too.
Oh, awesome. That is cool. Well done. And you told me you had nothing. You told me you had nothing
That's
today.
all I've got.
This is something, Paul.
That's my fucking bag of tricks done.
That's awesome.
Oh,
I don't want to take my top off, though.
that's alright.
Is there something on the back? Oh, it's a sticker.
It's a sticker.
Oh, well, we now have official chairman of the board
These
t-shirts.
are the only two in existence, Sam.
Give me a little second just to adjust the volume here. I know I'm bad for this, and I apologise. Right. That's awesome. Chairman of the board t-shirts.
I know, it's quite cool.
Fucking surprised me with that one on air. That's a privilege right there.
Good, eh?
That's awesome. I'm speechless.
You can wear it next week, Sam.
No, I will. I'll change into it. Just I'll wait till you're on like a big monologue and then I'll run off.
You could have had it when I was doing the poo monologue.
The poo monologue. Oh.
Anyway, what have you got, Sam?
I've got a few things I wanted to talk
I
about.
hear you're bursting with content.
Yep. I can never get the levels right on this mic. Yeah, the first thing, you've been at work all day, I don't even know if you've noticed this or anything like that.
What?
There's this sort of campaign, I think it started today, because it's only today that I've noticed it, where it's all about raising awareness of cancer.
The selfies?
Yeah, and so everyone's taking selfies without makeup on.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you look through Facebook, just about anybody's Facebook, they go through and it's all just these pictures and then comments. Every comment is to do with this. It's like it's kind of taken over in one day, so it's kind of cool that way. But what do you think about it?
I don't know, like, for ages I was
different opinions on it, obviously.
I do. When I was looking at it, I was like, I don't see how it helps. People just taking photos, but then I seen some people saying like, oh, like you can text to donate £3 to breast cancer, but for ages it was just people saying, like, it was just people putting up selfies at each other, and I was like, well, what good does it do? It's like, no, that thing saying like, hit like if justice should be done or something like that, and you're like, well, hitting like doesn't really do anything. Yeah, it's like that unless you're actually putting money to a charity.
I think there is an initial sort of reaction that people have, and they say, how is it's so easy to have that reaction of, how is you not wearing makeup helping anything? And I mean, Ryan had a point about it on one of his posts. He was saying it's not like people aren't aware of
cancer. Yeah.
I don't know though. I mean, the WWE do a thing. They do a thing about once a year where they've got like a big month-long campaign, and cancer, and it's not necessarily because I had the same reaction when the WWE were doing it. I'm like, what is this? Like, but people they know that cancer's a thing. It's not like you're informing anyone of anything. But supposedly the real reason behind doing it is not just to say cancer exists, it's to encourage people to go get checked. Right. Which is things that people, if they're aware that there's cancer, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to feel any sort of need to go get checked. And so, and that type of raising awareness, if the message behind it is also, but go get checked. Don't just oh, this thing exists. Yeah. Go get checked. And this is trying to encourage people to then go do it now.
Is that what it is?
Sooner than later. Then I appreciate and understand it. I see the merit in it from that point of view. And the thing is, whether or not you think it's a silly thing, we're talking about it. Everyone on Facebook's talking about it, and so it's now a thing. And maybe that information will slip through to the point where people do start thinking, maybe I should go get checked. So I definitely think there's merit in. It, of course, it's a thing that people are aware of, but just having it sort of a reminder, I think there's a merit in that. And even if they did it next year, and even if it was, people would probably have a reaction where they'd say, "You did this last year, and it did nothing. We didn't solve cancer." I don't know if it's necessarily about solving cancer. Yeah, it might just be getting people's minds so that they go out and get checked. And so from that point of view, then I'd be like, all right, no, it's well worth doing, because it takes you a couple of seconds, take a picture, maybe a couple more if you need to wipe your makeup off.
It's like, it's easy to do, it's just one of the things, it's easy to do, it's easy to just take a photo of your makeup off, and like, you're doing your bit. But then, like, I think I've seen people putting like screenshots up of text and the number and all that kind of stuff and saying like, your donation has been received, but then I think some people are just like, I didn't know. Like, just, like...
I mean,
I'd like to think that they all are donating as well. I seen a thing, though, before I came on about... it was like the next thing, and it was like a sock and a cock. And like it's to raise awareness for testicular cancer. So guys are had to pose with like a sock on their cock, basically.
I hadn't been aware of that, but I was actually thinking, and this was something from back when the WWE did their whole thing, because the WWE's thing, it wasn't just about cancer, it was about breast cancer specifically. And I mean, you look into the statistics, the amount of deaths per whatever type of cancer. There's more people dying from prostate cancer. There's more men. Men are dying from prostate cancer more so than women are dying.
Is that what Movember's for? Is that prostate cancer or is that testicular cancer?
You made me think for some reason when you said that of No Shave November. And I was like, that doesn't have anything to do with cancer. No, I mean, there might be, but you know, like, then this is, because my initial argument was, if we're looking for a cure for cancer and we're putting money towards cancer, why are we picking on specific types of cancer?
Yeah.
But then if it is about raising awareness to go get checked, then it makes sense to have, you know...
I've never thought about going to get checked for
one.
cancer.
Yeah, I haven't. Maybe you ought to with that fucking problem you've got.
I know, I was thinking I could have bowel cancer or something.
That's just dark. We shouldn't. No, but that's the annoying thing as well. It's like, I think it's good. I'm pretty much for it. I think that this is a good campaign, and I'm all for raising awareness of things. But you're also put in a position where you can't make light of it.
No,
you can't make a joke about it because people can't interpret that you're joking. Because as soon as they hear cancer, it's like Muslims. Like we were saying, like as soon as I haven't even said anything, just said Muslims. And yet the hair on the back of your neck stands up. What's he going to say? And this gut reaction, this nervous reaction for a word, for this. We haven't even said anything yet. But it's the same thing when I say anything about cancer. Because I was thinking, like, you know, I wonder if anyone's done any sort. And there has been the guys that did the, like, I'm going to put up a picture of my cock for, you know, whatever. But like, you know, I was thinking, you know, if I was to put up a picture and go like, look, I'm not wearing any makeup. You know, or if I was to say to one of my friends that's a girl, I would say, take a picture of your arm. Oh, I'm going to close this off actually.
Oh, I'm there, Sam.
No, it's just whenever that's up, it usually glitches a bit. If I was to say, like, take a picture of your arm and post, like, you can't tell, but I'm not wearing makeup in this picture. Right? You're still following the rules.
Right.
But you can't make jokes like that. People are too sensitive about it. Like, and I guess maybe they have a right to be because it is such a serious issue and they don't want to chance anyone not taking it for the serious issue that it is. But I posted something as well about, what was that said?
You're being controversial, Sam.
I mean, I don't think I was being too controversial. I was just kind of sort of making a point though, you know, because people will latch on to campaign, but a lot of people don't really think about other things. So I tried to hijack what was going on to try and just bring up a different point, and that was about, you know, ouch.
Sorry, Sam. Gets you back for last week for that thing. Right.
Yeah, I was saying about, I can't even remember what I said now. No, like, how did I word it? That's what I'm trying to figure out in my head.
It was something about
it was something
you shouldn't
about,
try and
like,
cure cancer because then how will...
Yeah, it was like, you know, oh, that was it. I was saying I'm all for this kind of promotion of, you know, trying to bring about a good cause and all that. But why would anyone want to cure cancer? Because think about all the jobs that you'd be destroying the economy.
Aye.
And I'm joking, but at the same time, it's like, think about it.
Aye.
Think about it, like, legitimately. If you are not part of the zeitgeist movement and you're not aware or you're not in favour of an alternative type of economy and you're quite happy with capitalism, you think capitalism works, if cancer got cured, how could you celebrate that? Because the economy would just decline so fast.
I know what you're saying. I think I knew I got it when you put it up because I knew where you were coming from, because obviously people find ways to profit off things. Do you know what I mean? Like, what was the guy that had the cure? He invented the cure for polio. And I'm sure it was in one of the Zeitgeist films or something, and people were like, it might not have been polio, it might have been some other disease, but people were, like, everybody was like trying to like buy the cure for this much money so they could make money off it, like so they could sell the cure to people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But he was like, no, I'm going to just put it out there and just everybody can have it for free.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's like a kind of example of, like, if they did have a cure for cancer and the guy was like, well, they were like, well, we can even make money off this for now and milk it a bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And you know what? I might be wrong, but I'm not sure if there was like already an established sort of cure that they were making money off of, that then this guy came in and fucked everything up. Or if there wasn't any sort of cure.
It could have been like a cheaper or an alternative cure.
See, I don't know. I don't know what the scenario was, but compare it to the internet.
Right.
The guy who invented, he didn't invent the internet. He invented HTML, which is because the internet isn't just Facebook, and I mean people probably know this, but the internet can just be sending one digit to across the wire. But in order to get a Facebook, the program has to be organized a certain way, and so this guy invented HTML, which is the program that they use for viewing web pages. Now, he could have patented that, and is that the right word? Patented that.
Aye.
And for every time that you go on a web page, he would be due something.
Aye.
You know,
like royalties.
Yeah, and so, but he didn't. He said, no. Why would you try and charge people for this? Just give it to the world for free. He gave it to the world for free, and how much better off are we? How much better off is everyone?
Aye.
How much the guy that invented it? How much is his life improved by giving it away for free?
Yeah.
Because it's like that. If you develop it, I love open source stuff, and it's so anti-capitalism. But
it works really good as well. Do you know what I mean?
And the thing is, like, because people think, why would you give anything away for free? People say it to me all the time about the documentary. Mostly people who haven't even watched it, they'll say, why would anybody work for free?
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. Why would anyone give anything away for free?
Yeah.
One of the examples, I think I actually use this in the film, and it's a 3D modeling program called Blender. And you think about the people that started that and contributed to that initially, that then put it out there. They're the ones that are then getting the program back from everyone else who contributed, and now it's much better. So it's not that you're just giving things out for free, you're getting it back, and it helps everyone. And that's the complete philosophy of having a resource-based economy. Everything's for free. It's not a freeloader type of thing where then, everyone just lies about and whatever. No, every contribution from everyone in the world helps everyone in the world. How can people not see the beauty in that when you have the internet? When you have web pages that, I mean, there was reason. I don't know if I want to go into like the whole reason copyright came about and all that stuff, but another thing about the cancer thing, right? And about this is a controversial subject.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen any of these. There's a number of documentaries about cannabis use, and about have you seen any of these?
No. I've seen things about cannabis use and medical kind of things.
I can't remember. I think there's one called "Run from the Cure," and there's all these things about cannabis, and the idea is that the claim is that cannabis oil, or the compound found in cannabis, THC, can be used to treat cancer. Now, have you heard of that? Have you ever?
Not really. I've heard about it benefiting people in certain ways. I mean, like, it was something on BBC Three that I watched about it. I don't know who the hell was in it or something, but this kid was ill and he was in constant pain all the time, and the doctors obviously gave him medication and it didn't really work. And the only kind of way that he could live, basically, not a normal life, but just not be in pain, was through smoking cannabis. But he didn't even smoke it like with tobacco. Like he like, remember Craig was talking about like vaping.
The vaporizer,
yeah. He used that, and that's how he said. And he said it's so much better. But like, I need to buy it illegally.
Yeah.
And he was from like a really well-to-do family.
The actual vapor you need to buy illegally.
Well, maybe it wasn't vapor. I know some guy was vaping it, but he had to get it. Did he have to get it illegally? It
Because
could have
I'm
been a
wondering if
different
that
case.
it maybe was illegal at one point to have. Because what other purpose would you have for it? You know. But maybe now with all this,
But I don't know if
vapor
he bought it
cigarettes.
and then. But this was a while ago. Like I know vaping's like a lot more of a thing now. Do you know what I mean? This was like a good number of years ago when maybe he had to vape at home or like whatever the process was. I know he had like a bit like like the vape things now, like the size of a pen and all that kind of stuff. Like he had a unit like sitting on a desk and it was plugged into the wall and all this kind of stuff. And he did it through that. And he said, I think he even like maybe wore a mask. I'm not sure, but it was.
I don't know what the fuck your friend was doing.
No, this wasn't my friend. This
He
was
was-
this guy
Oh,
that on the BBC Three thing. But he was saying,
right.
like this is like the only way that like I'm in constant pain otherwise. And he said it just makes me feel much better. And it's not like he's using it to sit and get fucked up and watch really mad stuff about aliens and Nazis and that and be like and
Well,
get all crazy stoned and that.
This is it though. This is why it's such an annoying thing to try and bring up, especially when you don't know all the information on it, because people are so quick to dismiss things.
Aye.
And like I always hesitate whenever I find something that seems like it's easy to just dismiss. Like we were talking the other week about Tommy, is his name Tommy Robinson?
Aye.
He's the EDL guy, and I completely understand why people look at him and they're like, "Fuck off! I'm not even entertaining you." I understand that. Whenever I feel like that, though, I kind of go, "No, I have to absolutely be 100% sure of this." And there's probably the majority of my friends that would hate me for not hating him, you know. But
I know.
I
I see what you
can't
mean.
bring myself to. But so it's the same thing. When I see these documentaries, I'm very skeptical. And you know, just because someone's on TV saying that they're a doctor doesn't mean they are. So I'm skeptical of everything. So whenever I think there's something to something, it's usually not an off the cuff kind of thing. And but so I was looking into all this. Because the thing is, if there's a chance that hemp oil can cure cancer, and that is what's curing it, and it's hard because, like, you know, how many studies have been done, how many trials have been done, people don't know. I looked on, I googled it, went through some pages, and you know, you get like Yahoo Answers.
Yeah.
And some guy was asking, you know, is this cannabis oil curing cancer kind of thing a legitimate thing? The top answer is, which everyone else has voted for as being the top answer, is yes. There's been studies on it, blah, blah, blah. Now, don't worry, I'm not going off of just that. But then you see all the following answers. And it's all like, no, there's never been any studies, there's never been this. And so I'm like, all right, well, I mean, the top rated one says there is, so okay, let's go look into the studies. And there's like 20 studies being done on the relationship between cannabis and cancer. And they're I mean, I don't know, they're published in journals. Like, I'm looking through them as much as I can. And whether or not there's flaws to them, I don't know. I'm completely willing to be proven wrong on anything. But you take you back to that Yahoo page. You can't fucking just post, no, there's never been any studies done, when there's fucking at least a claim that studies have been done on the internet that's not easy to just fucking debunk.
But I think it must be hard as well to get studies into it. Do you know what I mean? Like, because obviously studies have to be funded to a degree and stuff like that, and people are like, cannabis is this bad thing, stay away from it. And then so the government has to fund these studies that are like, no, well, is it? Do you know what I mean?
I think as well that, and I'm not sure about this, but I think that they weren't allowed to study cannabis for a long time because of its ban. I'm not sure about that, but I'm sure I heard that somewhere.
It's not like you could put into the, like, apply to the government for a study and be like, heroin, is it really that bad? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they might allow that, but I'm sure there was a ban on even testing cannabis for a long time because they'd already declared it as being whatever, and there's the whole big reason as to why they were trying to smear its reputation. Now, most people accept that, as far as I'm aware, most people accept that cannabis is not nearly as bad as what previously thought or previously published. And you know, there's all these propaganda films. You watch all those old American propaganda films about how cannabis will kill you. You will die from inducing it.
I heard recently, I don't know how recently, but apparently it was illegal in America anyway for them to grow hemp for use in clothes and rope and stuff like that.
I think it still
and
is.
It's been legalised recently.
There's a few states that have legalised medical marijuana, and I think even a few states that have legalised marijuana.
Aye, there is just now, aye.
Yeah, but yeah, for a lot of places and a lot of times, because I've heard other people talking about it where they had to. You're not even allowed to grow the plant, and because there's the male plant and the female plant, and the female plant is the one that has the bud on it with the
THC,
the THC compound.
The
male plant doesn't.
No,
the male plant you could just grow by itself. Like they know what seeds are what. You could just buy a bag of the male seeds. You cannot get high off of it. There's no relationship to this male plant and getting high. There's no relationship. The only reason you would have it is so that you can then use the hemp.
I don't understand
but
why
it's illegal
in this country. It's illegal to smoke it and to have possession and all this kind of stuff, but it's legal to buy the seeds for it. Like, you can legally go into a shop and buy seeds for like a cannabis plant. Yeah,
they must have just not been able to
but
swing that in the law.
It seems really fucking stupid because like, you can have the seeds for it, but if you grow it, you're fucking done.
Unless we get conspiratorial about it and say maybe they want the seeds there so that then they can catch the people.
That's it. That's what I'm thinking as well.
Maybe.
But no, what I never understood about cannabis people as well, right? They say that, like, see when like the police helicopters go about in that, and they've got like the big heat-seeking cameras on them, like if some kind of mental criminal runs into the woods and that, and like there he is, right? These cameras can pick up like the folks that have got like the UV, the heaters and that in their roof, like it picks up on it. Why do they not just fucking grow them in the garden or like in the greenhouse or something?
Because I guess then it'd be visible to neighbours and.
But like, who really looks in somebody's greenhouse? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there probably are people that do it. I mean, that's the best way to hide something. Hide it in
plain sight.
Yeah. I say it's the best way to hide something. It's probably not the best way to.
No, it's probably a terrible way.
Sounds something like it's just something you say, isn't it? That's the best way of doing it. No, it's not. Shut up.
But if it's in a greenhouse with other plants, you just it's a tomato plant or something. I just never understood that, why they draw them, why they put them in sorry, I've just looked at my Monopoly thing. Why they never just fucking grew them in greenhouses instead? They're talking about putting them in the roofs and that. I remember once years ago, me and my pals toyed with the idea of doing it, like on a really small scale just for us, but like we never ever done it.
No.
That could have been a fucking stupid idea.
Well,
have you got any yellow squares, Sam? I could win a scooter here, mate.
Let's just check.
I need 514, 515.
No, but I've won a medium soft drink. I wonder if that includes a Frappy. No, soft drink.
No. Well, if anybody out there listening has won one of the yellow squares on the McDonald's thing, we can split a scooter.
But you have to tell them which one it is, because
well, I've got 516, so if we team up, I need a 514 and a 515, and then we can have a scooter. And then I don't know what we'll do. Split it.
I don't think you can split a scooter.
Well, like I could have it on Wednesday some nights, and they could have it on other nights.
Sounds like a good plan. If anyone out there is.
Or we could sell the scooter and split the profits.
No, because then we're encouraging people to go back to McDonald's. I don't want to do that.
But they buy Frappies.
Okay, if you're buying Frappies, if you happen to win the yellow thing on the Frappy, that's fair enough.
But just think if somebody just happens to be at McDonald's in Mora, and we're like, oh, I remember Paul was saying the other night, and they're like, fuck, I've got 516. Oh wait, 515.
Who's Paul? And that guy with the chairman of the board
what
t-shirt.
Have you got? And then the pal's got 514, and like, fucking, do you want a bit of a scooter? Like, aye.
But going back to because I had a few more sort of points as well. Or just if anyone wants to check out all this stuff, by the way, the guy who is sort of who's peddling this nonsense about hemp oil curing cancer, even though I think there could be something to it. And it's not just the fact that there's these studies online. I'll just say, first of all, his name is Rick Simpson, and if he is full of shit in any way, please do phone in and let me know. But so the other thing as well is it's not just that, okay, here's this claim that's kind of compelling. Like, it's becoming a big thing now where there's loads of video testimonies, and there's loads of instances of people with kids who have, I think you'd mentioned one about the brain tumour.
Aye. Well, whatever it was, it was something that was wrong with him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen, I think, at least 3 videos where it was children.
Mm-hmm.
And, in fact, 4 if you include, because Vice did a thing as well. About,
did Vice do one?
About a child who had some sort of illness, and she copes with medical marijuana, with the hemp oil, actually.
Right, Sam, apparently I'm getting a message saying that, like, my head's total cut off on this.
Oh, shit.
See, it looks alright in there, but look,
That's
see if you
yeah.
look at that photo.
Aye. No, don't worry about it. Yeah.
I don't know if it's just the screen on your
No,
thing.
it's because we're experimenting with a new camera angle.
Right.
But don't worry, it's fixed now. It'll be fine.
Right, okay.
No, so there's all these videos on YouTube, and the thing is, I hate when people do this as well. They say, "Oh, well, if it's on the internet, then it must be true."
Mm-hmm.
Look, the internet is full of fucking factual information, and mainstream media has been shown to be corrupt quite a lot.
Aye.
And I mean, you've got the fucking NSA and all that. Like, everything's not black and white. Everything's not just the way the media portrays it. So when these videos start emerging, and it's not just this one-off documentary, there's a couple of them, but it's not even just these documentaries.
Mm-hmm.
There's personal fucking testimonies and people being on like daytime TV shows talking about it. There's a woman, I think she was a doctor and she had cancer, and you've got all the footage of her and all that stuff, and she was dying. She was on her deathbed.
Aye.
And she said, "Fuck this, I'm looking into all this Rick Simpson stuff, all these cases where people had tumours that are now, the tumours are just being eradicated, and it's from this hemp oil."
I wonder what happens for it to do it.
Supposedly it's to do with, it's kind of complicated. The way that I sort of interpreted it, had it explained when I was watching this stuff, is you have an endocannabinoid system, right, which is...
You're fucking throwing me into the deep end there, Sam.
Well, it's kind of like, it's your nervous system, right?
Right.
And at the end of specific points in your nervous system, you have receptors, and these receptors talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you get the feelings from, wherever,
Yeah.
it's receptors. And what happens at the end of these receptors, there's these things called cannabinoids.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the things that talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And if one of them sort of not dies, if one of these cells die, it can be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if one of them stops working, but it forgets to die, right?
Right.
Which sounds kind of weird, but if one of them stops sort of reciprocating, but it doesn't quite die, so it's still there, that then becomes a cancerous cell.
Mm-hmm.
And that cell can affect other cells, and blah, blah, blah. And so when you get like radiotherapy, chemotherapy and radioactive therapy, what that does is, if you compare that to like, you've got a target, and you're just shooting a fucking bazooka at it, what it does is it just goes in and it destroys all the cells around that surrounding area.
Right, okay.
And that's what the treatment is, more or less, with most
So
of
it's
these.
not so much like pinpoint, it's just like the whole area is kind of...
It's
like
just
wiped out.
whatever cells are in that area, it targets it
Mm-hmm.
and destroys it. But what they're saying is when you induce THC, and supposedly as well, just smoking it, that's not going to be enough. It has to be applied in a way where it's like this condensed, like they extract the hemp oil and it condenses it down, and you've got THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cannabinoids, and so they're saying that the tetrahydrocannabinol interacts with these cannabinoids in a way that fixes them, and it doesn't just destroy all the other cells. It goes along, and it's like, when they compare it to like a rocket launcher into your target, that's the chemotherapy way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas THC is instead like a sniper, where you're just targeting the specific
The
cells.
one.
And so that's how they're saying it works. Now, obviously, there's loads of different types of cancer.
But they're saying not to smoke it. Or like to smoke it, but what's the best way of getting the THC?
The best way of doing it is extracting the hemp oil.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no idea about the process of doing that.
Because you can vape oil or something. Or I don't suppose...
Oh, no, people vape cannabis as a healthier way of inducing it than smoking it, because apparently I think in America they just like they smoke blunts and it's all just cannabis and the thing. But here, if we smoke cannabis, we late it with tobacco.
Aye.
So it's not a good way of doing it. And And so, apparently the vapor's the cleanest, healthiest way of getting in your system. But supposedly inducing it that way is not as effective as if you had like edibles and things like that, where you had like space cakes and all that stuff. It goes in your system, it digests differently and all this stuff. But even then, the space cakes and whatever, that's one thing. But the hemp oil and having it like on the Rick Simpson video, they have these like little tubes, and it's like a paste, and so you either can just eat it, and as far as I know, it's not like it doesn't just get you baked or anything like that, but you can just eat it, and you can also rub it on. Like there was a kid who had a tumor, and what they were doing is they were rubbing it on where his tumor was on the surface, and so they're saying that this rubbing on your skin now, like, it could just be blown out of the water. It could just be a completely wrong thing, and maybe people thinking, why is he talking about this nonsense? I don't know that it is nonsense. I've not had it shown to me that it's nonsense, and I've seen so many videos where these are compelling videos, and it's not just like some sketchy, like, handheld camera and a guy and his own personal testimony, because I don't trust personal testimonies much. It's hard to trust they're like the worst form of evidence. But supposedly there are these clinical trials.
I'm wondering, do you know what you're saying about the paste and that? Like, I did epilepsy training at work a couple of weeks ago, and they were saying like ways to administer medication. You get this stuff called buxomidazolam, right? And when they put it in there, like at the back of your cheek, on that side. And that's gets it into your bloodstream really, really quick, because there's like, it must be at the back of your cheek somewhere. It just soaks up, puts it right into your bloodstream, like, and it's as effective as like giving like an enema. Know how they administer straight drugs at the bum as well. And they say like it gets right into your bloodstream right quick if you put it in the back of your cheeks. And I wonder if that would be something, if you could put like that THC paste on these bits at the back of your cheeks.
The thing is, I mean, if that's just a way of getting it in your bloodstream quicker, and that's a way of relieving the pain quicker, then that's one thing. But it's more for they're saying use it for, I mean, but they're actually saying they use it for a number of different things. But if it's to do with cancer, like, it's not about getting in your system quicker. It's like, if it's going to go in your system, it's going to go in your system, and it's all right. So I mean, you see this guy just kind of eating it. And
I suppose that'd be maybe more an emergency. I'm talking about.
But I mean, if you wanted to get it quicker, then I suppose that's.
Or up the bum.
For some reason that works. So I mean, I don't know. It's so interesting to me, and because I've just not seen it fully debunked. The closest you'll get to a debunking video of it, because I've looked for, debunk this for me, go on YouTube, tell me why this is wrong, and you get this guy going on about it, like, he knows all the science and all stuff, and he's talking about how there's no way why hemp seed oil would have anything to do with curing cancer, and then you're like, oh, back up, hemp seed oil, it's not hemp seed oil, it's hemp oil. So, like, and you look through all the comments and they're all like, the fuck is this guy talking about hemp seed oil? No one's talking about hemp seed oil. It's hemp oil. There's a difference. And so, like, that's the closest you'll get to, like, a guy trying to debunk it, talking about the wrong fucking thing. Which is frustrating when you, because I don't care either way. I want the truth. I want to know what
you
is
want to see both sides of the argument.
Yeah. And when you're showing videos and, like, they're making it convincing, and they're showing you, like, the charts, the brain tumor dying over the course of this month, and they're claiming he took nothing other than they took him off of the therapy he was on. He was only getting worse on it. They took him off, and they gave him nothing but this. Because there's another thing as well is, you hear about, well, cannabis gives you the munchies. Supposedly when they have this hemp oil, nearly said hemp seed oil, fuck that guy, hemp oil, their appetite comes back, and that's a big thing as well. Like, they get their appetite back, and they
anorexic people.
There's a huge campaign as well, not just for, and this is why people are skeptical of it, because it's getting portrayed as this miracle drug, and it's like fucking cannabis. We all know cannabis is bad. Why are you telling us it's a miracle drug? And that's why people are sketchy about it.
Right.
But there's another campaign, nothing to do with cancer, what's the disease? Parkinson's.
Yeah.
There's a number of people that have Parkinson's that say this helps them with it.
Maybe that's
it
what
doesn't
that
cure
guy
it.
had.
I'm not saying it cures or anything like that.
Yeah.
But if they
It helps.
get high, they can function normally.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're watching this video. There's a video that got kind of big a few months back, and it's a girl who you can see her, and was it Parkinson's she had? She had, like, you know, she was very stuttery and very, like, you know, couldn't really form sentences properly.
Mm-hmm.
She starts she might have vaped.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
this
like cerebral
stuff.
palsy or something.
I think it was cerebral palsy she had it,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, there was a different girl that was the Parkinson's one.
Mm-hmm.
But the Parkinson's one was the same. It had the
Right.
same effect. They were then able to function normally. And then it just makes you think, like, why was I told for years in schools and whatever else? Why wasn't it explained to me what these things are?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it just, these are drugs, drugs are bad,
Mm-hmm.
don't do drugs? Like, I fucking... it's so dumb now to look back on it. I had a thing where I resented my stepdad for a long time because of something to do with... I don't know if I should mention it on the thing, right? It was years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was years ago. So I was always taught through... I was in primary 7 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this big whole thing about drugs and anti-drugs, and there was posters on the wall, and they'd show you like an image of... It was one poster, and it was like images of different things. Didn't tell you what these things were. It was just, this is drugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I had it really drilled into me that drugs are bad. That's the end of story. There's no excuse
Mm-hmm.
for drugs. And I was so anti-drug, so anti-smoking, anti-alcohol for years,
Aye.
right? And I was so against it.
Straight
And,
edge.
But just, yeah, unintentionally straight edge.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a vegetarian as well up until I was like 8. So like, so I was as good boy as you could get, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But and one of my friends started kind of telling me, like, he's like joking with me, he's saying, "Oh, you know your stepdad? I'm gonna steal his stash, man. I'm gonna steal his weed."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "All right, yo, whatever." And he goes like, "No, I am. I know where he keeps it."
Right.
And I was like, "Would you fuck off? Like, my stepdad does not do drugs."
Mm-hmm.
And that was my attitude. I was like, he does not do drugs, right? And then this guy argued with me, and we kind of came close to falling out about it. And I was so adamant. How dare he say that my stepdad does drugs? How dare he say he's a druggie?
Aye.
And then I think it was a few years later, I then find out that he was smoking cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was like, wait a minute. Do you know, I mean, not... My mum and stepdad weren't too harsh on, you know, drilling into me anti-drugs, everything's drugs bad. But, they would have said it. And it was getting so drilled into me at school that then when I see the hypocrisy of, but he's smoking this drug, I was fucking outraged, and I was like...
At him or at like the school?
Yeah, at him. No, at him.
Right.
Because I sided with the school.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you're fucking doing this shit. You're going to tell me how to behave when you're doing that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so ashamed that you're doing that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing is, I didn't have a clue what cannabis was.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a clue what any drugs were.
Mm-hmm.
And that just shows you, and that's probably why I'm so hesitant now to sort of be committed to putting across a certain point of view.
Yeah.
Because you can't, if you don't know what you're talking about, then you can lose your mind defending something that turns out to be completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
My position now is that cannabis is a medicine. It should almost be a fucking requirement for people at some age in their life to try it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to get away from the stigma of it, because
Aye.
you look into all the propaganda. I was fed the propaganda.
But that's like what you say, like the stigma of like people being like branded a druggie. Like when you think druggie, you instantly have this image of like somebody shitting somewhere in a dark old flat in a shitty old couch.
And do you know what? It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same imprinting that when
you say the word Muslim.
Whenever you say the word Muslim, it's the same
We
thing.
kind of keep using that as an example.
But it's a good example though, because the thing is, the information's out there. You can go and read the Quran and see what it actually says. You don't have to take the claims of what Islam is from the EDL, and you don't have to take the claims from the mainstream media either. Because I think Islam gets downplayed in the mainstream media as being a non-threat, and and it's dangerous when you say that because people immediately associate that with you're thinking about terrorism. I'm not thinking about terrorism.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about basic social dynamics. And the thing is, I think Christianity is a threat.
Well,
no one bats an eyelid when I say that.
No
one cares when I say that. I think Judaism is a threat. I think Mormonism is a threat. But I think
when, if you look back to when Christianity was first started, in Rome, it was to control people and to, do you know what I mean, to get people inside and all that kind of stuff. But then now it's just become this big party culture that nobody really bats an eye at it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's it. They've kind of had their day.
Yeah, that's it. It's too late on for them.
That's what I mean. It feels, it's a Sam Harris thing. He talks about it and he says, and it's true, it's the Islam's sort of still in its infancy almost, and it's almost like they're at this rebellious teenager stage where they want to prove themselves and be taken seriously by everyone else, and so they're more vehement in their what do you call it? the way they communicate, I guess. You see all these things, and there's good and bad people on every side, right? We'll say there's good Christians, there's bad Christians. There's good Muslims, there's bad Muslims. But when we're talking about having an ideology that's based off of a book of instructions, that whether or not you can interpret it however you want, it doesn't matter. It's non-negotiable, right? Now you can decide to decipher it however you want, but the only thing that's fucking non-negotiable in life is natural law. You can tell me about Muhammad going up to the sky on a fucking winged horse. You can tell me about Jesus coming back from the dead. Do you know what I mean? But everything that's talked about within natural law and science, you can show me it.
Yeah, that's
and that's
true.
the difference. And the thing about knowledge, have people want to be clever and say, I know that Jesus exists. Well, no, you don't know. Because knowledge is demonstrable. And if you can't show it, you don't know it.
Aye.
And that's why when people say they know stuff in science, they can show it.
Yeah.
And that's why they know it. So it's not... People tend to think that science is just another branch of belief system. It's not.
No.
Science is the real world.
Yeah, it's fact.
And if you don't believe that, you can... Fuck off.
Right. Get out now.
I had another few wee points now. I mean, we're getting on. We've only got 10 minutes left before we're going to start taking calls.
I was going to say something else, Sam. Just a quickie that I seen. No, you're saying about the NSA. Right, it made me think of this thing, and I never really. I seen a thing in a some kind of, I don't know where the hell I seen it. Have you heard of the black phone?
The black phone, I think so.
And it's basically this new Android phone that's coming out midway this year sometime. Yeah, and it's basically a phone it's like an Android phone, right? And basically everything that's in it, that's sent to and from it, is encrypted, so people can't hack your data. Right, and that's quite a mad idea. And there's apparently another phone that's been released by Boeing, right? And they're making this phone as well. No, Boeing that builds jets. They're releasing a phone, and it's for government employees, and it explodes if tampered with by enemies. It self-destructs itself. That's quite mad, eh? But what I was thinking was this black phone that all the data it sends to and from itself is encrypted, right? So people worry about the NSA spying on us and all this kind of stuff, right? The Americans, right? They're spying on us, they're tracking our phone calls and texts and stuff like that. So this phone's saying if you want to say fucking they can't read this phone, it's encrypted. But the phone's been made by an American security company. Do you know what I mean? So what are the bets that they're well, we'll sell you this encrypted phone? You're looking at worried, Sam.
No, it was just because usually the green's on the level, and I'm just thinking, I hope we're not too low or anything.
We've not had any complaints about volume.
Sorry, go on.
But so they're selling this phone that they're selling you on the premise that whatever you send and receive to this phone is encrypted, so nobody can essentially see what you're up to. But it's been made by an American security company. What's the betting that they're not saying to NSA, right, these are the codes and that for us. So people that buy this phone, they're up to fucking no good because they're like, I want to send fucking encrypted shit and look at dodgy stuff and all that kind of carry on.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they're like, here's a safety net, but we're really going to keep an eye on that safety net.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a bit weird, eh?
Well, it's funny you bring that up actually, because I had a similar subject to do with Google and something that they've kind of got with. Before I actually go into Google, because I was gonna bring this up, but then I thought people might see this as fear mongering, so I wanted to talk about fear mongering, right? And I'm very skeptical whenever there's some sort of like, you know, the whole thing about the NSA. Now that's true. Edward Snowden leaked it. There's the Prism thing, like that. They're able to tap into your phones. They're able to listen to your conversations. They're able to sort of track you anytime, right? Before that, there was the big sort of, and it is kind of essentially fear mongering, a thing about be wary of Google because what was it? The adverts,
right?
The adverts are programmed to be displayed based on what you like. I remember I heard this in college, and everyone was like, "Really? The Google can know what you like, and therefore they'll do target advertising towards you."
But that's not a hard jump to get. That's not a hard place to get to, is it?
Well, it's easy to work out how they did it, right? No, but the thing is, that's for your fucking convenience, because no one's. It's not like it says Sam Vallely on a list somewhere, right? Because we all watched, we were in the classroom. We watched a documentary on it, which this was annoyed to me actually because the lecturer was so adamant about getting out this information and telling us about it, right? That once we watched it, I then had some questions, and she was just like, "Oh no, we're not taking questions about it." And I'm like, you're showing us a movie that's not anything to do with what we're. This is, you saw this at home and thought this would be beneficial for us to watch. Yet when I've got a question about it, we're not allowed to talk about it now. And she just like fucking ignored me.
Aye.
And I was like, no, this is bullshit fear mongering. Where you're saying fear Google because they've got an algorithm which then detects based on your searches what you like. And as far as I know, you can switch this algorithm off and all that stuff. But the way it's set up is it records your searches, but it's done in such a way, according to this documentary, that they can't track your name. Right. Now, they did show that they could, if they wanted to, study one particular, okay, here's a file, and we could study based on their searches, find out kind of roughly where they live, but they can't just do it like, through, okay, this is where this person's lived, this is their name, this is their address, all this stuff. And they probably can do that now with all the NSA stuff, but at the time when this fear mongering was going on, they can't do that, but they might be able to work out roughly where you live. There'll be certain things about, if you're Googling stuff about a dog, they might say, okay, it's in the street, we know, and this person has a dog, and they can sort of narrow it down that way. Yeah. But, so they can't do it in reverse. They can't say, Paul Quigley, we're not sure about him, let's see what he's been Googling. They can't do a search for your name and work out what it is that you've been searching. Right. So it can only be chosen at random. This fucking encrypted number here, we're gonna select that and see what this person's been searching, and then they might find, oh, he's been looking at something dodgy, and then they have to go through trying to work out what. So so the whole thing about it recording your searches, so that then it better caters the advertising towards you. Yeah. Now I guess it depends if you have a big thing against advertising, but that's nothing to do with being against Google. No. Because if I'm sitting there, like, I don't want to see fucking advert. Like, if there's an advert going to come up, and if it's going to be for, if the choices are, okay, it's either going to be for a UFC event that's coming up soon, or it's going to be for fucking tampons. Right? I was thinking tampons as well, so it's quite funny. But I know what you mean, like, I would prefer it came up with the fucking thing that I'm likely to be interested in. So when I was in the class, I'm like, why is this a bad thing again? Because you're just telling us it's a bad thing, and we're just to accept that. And another thing about the fear mongering was the whole Y2K thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about that with John Teeter, talking about the Y2K. People were freaking out about Y2K. Fucking planes were going to crash in the sky and all this stuff, and people were not going to know what to do. The whole Y2K thing had nothing to do with fucking planes crashing in the sky.
No.
Like, it couldn't have happened like that.
No.
What it was, the whole fear thing about it, was that there was a few banking systems.
Right.
Probably quite a lot, right? There was quite a lot of banking systems that when they were first set up, the programming language that they used to create these systems didn't account for us to go into the next
The year 2000.
2000. So their digit, their system, the system
Mm-hmm.
was set up so that the date would be, you know, the day, the month, and then the year. But the
Mm-hmm.
year would be a 2-digit thing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Aye, so it would be like 99.
Yeah, so it wouldn't go to
98.
99 and then to 2000, which is 4 digits.
Mm-hmm.
It would go back to 0.
Aye.
And they were like, wait a
That'll
minute here.
reset itself.
What if everything resets itself?
Aye.
Now that's to do with fucking, you know, banking and stuff. Planes aren't going to fucking
Aye.
fall out of the sky because, you know.
Mm.
So there was a lot of fear mongering about it. Now
And it got blown up out of proportion, that as
it
well.
got well blown. Now the thing is, it was because it got released that, oh, by the way, this language that they used to write this program,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah.
No one uses it,
Mm-hmm.
or no one codes in it. Like it's being used in these systems, but that's the great thing about programming. Once it's done, it's done. You don't need to touch it.
Mm-hmm.
So people moved on from that language, and so they were like, we don't really know how to code this language anymore. And so they were freaking out because they thought if they can't reprogram it, if they can't get enough programmers who know how to do that, then what if it does reset itself, all that stuff. Now,
That's a funny thing to say, Sam. People don't know how to code in that language anymore because it's like it's not used. Like, no, you get these like people that live in like Machu Picchu and all that kind of stuff, and they're like, this guy's the last guy that can speak this fucking Aztec language. He's the last person that can speak it, and he's trying to teach it in schools and that, so he passes it on. And then that's like a fucking ancient language, and then that's like, how long's computing been about? Like,
Well,
since the 80s or fucking 70s when they're writing and coding that,
yeah, but the thing is as well, right?
and they've forgotten about that. That's mind
No, but that's the thing as well. Someone probably said that. The thing is, there's quite a few different programming languages,
Yeah,
but all of them are based off of one language called C,
mm-hmm.
and all of them are extensions. It's like open source kind of software. So
Right.
like I was saying about Blender. Imagine someone took Blender and went off and made their own version, but rather than bringing that back to the community and everyone working on that,
Mm-hmm.
everyone else goes off and makes their own versions.
Mm-hmm.
So programming languages are like that, but they're all based off of C. And so if this was an early programming language, it wouldn't be too hard, I don't think,
To figure it out.
to decipher it.
Mhm.
Even if you didn't know. But of course, they found people who knew how to
Aye, you would
program
figure it out, aye.
So I guess it was an off-the-cuff remark someone made
Mhm.
about, oh yeah, I mean, we don't have any programmers who write in that language anymore. And it was like, oh my god,
Right.
what might happen? And it was total blown out of proportion, fear-mongering. And the thing is, if you don't know, you buy into it.
Do you remember, like, oh, I'm trying to think. Do you remember when that was happening and then the build up to New Year that year, 99? Were you thinking, like, what's going to happen? Like, I didn't really understand. I think I was too young to
I
understand
don't think I
that.
understood it much
But I
at
was
the
like,
time.
what is going to happen? Like, I was expecting this mad stuff to happen. And then I remember, like, we were in the house and then I think there was a kind of a moment just after the bells, everybody was like they celebrating that, and then there was like a kind of an awkward bit and like, has anything happened? And then it was just fucking forgot about it.
Yeah,
As soon as
yeah.
it happened, it's forgotten about. It's mental that, eh?
I wondered as well because like I can't really remember what my reaction to it was, but you know the way the Mayan calendar was ending,
Mm-hmm.
and like I wonder like did people not kind of, there was like the week before it there was a lot of, oh my god, getting excited about it, but then like the day before it the excitement had just kind of died down. Like people were like, yeah, we know this is silly.
And
I
then
wonder
like,
if
the
that
day
was
after it was fucking forgotten about, it was gone.
I don't know if the same thing would have happened though with the Y2K stuff though, because that's it's not a mythological, it's not like a, you know what I mean, it's not like a voodoo
Aye,
thing, it's
aye.
it's like this is legitimately, this program language, this is something we don't know about. If they're saying it could fuck everything up, then that's something to be afraid about. So I don't, maybe people were afraid, maybe there probably were, I imagine, people going into bomb shelters and taking tins of food and all that stuff based on a misunderstanding of
Not say.
oh, yeah. And so this is why I'm skeptical, but I did get sent something today.
Sent something,
Yeah, I got sent a link to this video,
right?
and because I'm a programmer, like
Mhm.
I understand like the difference between when something's a kind of bullshit threat and when something's not. This is
Mhm.
interesting. So Google introduced on their webpage, and I don't think it's a fault of Google, but I could be wrong about that.
Mhm.
I don't mean fault. I'll explain. So what they've done is they've got the voice recognition.
Yeah.
So now rather than just type in a search, you can go on and click the button and just talk. And if you've got a microphone on your computer, it'll pick it
Yeah,
up.
I've got it on my phone.
So what's happened though is Google Chrome, that's the browser that you need to have this feature,
Mhm.
right? You probably do it with other browsers as well, but on the Google Chrome browser,
Mhm.
there's a bug with this software.
Right.
And what it means is if you have another website and you're programming your page in HTML, you can fuck around with the settings for the voice recording stuff. And what it is because the example that was given in this video was there's a website where it's like a to-do list.
Mhm.
And so you will touch the button to record, and then you'll start saying, I need to do this, and then it'll come up with, it'll be like a little checkbox kind of thing. And you're like, oh, I need to do this, and it'll sort of auto-fill them.
Mhm.
And then you say stop recording, and the little red icon goes off
Mhm.
to signify that we've stopped recording.
Mhm.
But it hasn't stopped recording.
Right.
It's like there's a banner, like an advertisement hidden. It doesn't pop up.
Mhm.
It kind of like appears behind the window,
Mhm.
and this keeps recording. It records everything you're saying.
Right.
So if you've been on this website and you've interacted with this, and you think it stopped recording, it hasn't.
Mhm.
And so then you could go on your phone and be talking to your friend, and it's picking up everything.
Aye.
And the fucking thing about it is, she was demoing it, and it comes up. She was like, so if I was to say NSA or Syria, and do you know what it did? Records everything she's saying. It highlighted NSA and Syria as in big red letters, so
Mhm.
it auto knows if anyone's listening to this thing and they say anything like NSA or Syria or bomb, I guess there'll probably be people listening to us right now just because I've said bomb.
Mhm.
Probably people that were listening anyway when I said Muslim. So, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, there
But-
probably is.
But so I mean, and this isn't necessarily a fault of Google. Is what I was going to say. Now I used the wrong word fault because it is a fault. Like it's their fault. Like they fucked up.
How do
with
you
the
mean
bug.
it came up in red, Sam?
Well, it showed her on the banner, so it was like a little pop-up window,
Yeah.
and it had every time she spoke.
So she
It
did set an
recorded it.
example and she's like start recording, set an example, then clicked, then said end record.
She
and
said
then
end
she just went
record.
blah blah blah, Syria, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Right.
and she moved the browser over to the side,
Mhm.
and I guess she was working on a Mac because the way that they open up on their own sort of desktops, and so if something appears behind it, you won't see it.
Mhm.
So she moved the window over to the side, and you could see the dialogue box where it'd been recording everything,
Mhm.
and she showed you how even this dialogue box where it's telling you everything that you've said, that can be covered up with an advertisement with a banner, so you'll
Mhm.
never even know that it's recording everything you're saying.
Mhm.
It's doing all that. I apologise, we've had a few calls here.
Have we? We never even said that the phone line's open, Sam.
Our phone lines open yet? Yeah, phone lines are open, although just give me 2 seconds, I'm going to finish this off.
Right.
So it was recording everything that she was saying,
Mhm.
but the weird thing was it was programmed to detect the words, and because she was doing it in real time, and
Mhm.
she said NSA, and then when that didn't just come in normal text, it was then in bright red
Aye.
bold letters, and it was like, wow, that software has been set up to detect,
And
and-
what does it do with that?
it'll be sending off to whatever server. Now,
That's crazy.
the thing is, when I say I don't know if it's necessarily that Google's having any involvement to do with this, because this could have just been something they fucked up, and there's
Yeah.
just something wrong in their programming. But she said that she had reported this to Google, and before putting it online and trying to expose what's going on, she waits 4 months for Google to fix it,
Really?
and they still didn't fix it.
So then she
So
showed them.
yeah, so then it's kind of like, maybe Google's in on this, maybe.
Mhm.
And the thing is, Google was involved with all that NSA stuff.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I got sent that video and I thought it was quite informative. And so, word to the wise, fucking get rid of Google Chrome, or just be very careful when you're on it that you're not accidentally turning on the voice recognition stuff, because then who knows what you might say in jest or.
We don't need to worry about the NSA in this country, you know, Sam.
Well, I mean, who knows though? I mean, if it can be no, in fact, you know what we do? We do, because there was a guy who tweeted to his friends, he's going to New York, right? And he said something like, "I'm going to New York and it's going to be a blast," right?
Right.
And so that got picked up, and then when he went to go get the airplane to New York,
No
he
way.
couldn't board.
Seriously?
Yeah.
And what reason did they give him?
Because he posed a threat, an international threat, and said it, like, you know, he used the word blast
Aye.
when he was going to New York, and how, and you can just imagine them speaking to him. That's not very appropriate, is it? And he'd probably be sitting there. Can you not fucking see that?
I'm going to have a blast in New York.
Yeah, I mean, he might not have said blast. He might have said something like, "I'm going to tear it up," or you know, something that someone would say, meaning that they're going to have fun. They're going to have a fucking party, and you're stopping them flying.
I'm going to have an explosion in New York.
Yeah, well, if you said that, then.
Or what about my bowels are about to explode?
Hashtag New York.
I heard about there was a thing. Charlie Boorman and Ewan McGregor were going somewhere on a plane on one of these round the world kind of trips, and they were going to the airport, and they were having a lot of hassle about something. And apparently Charlie Boorman said, "For fuck's sake, it's not as if I'm carrying a bomb." He was fucking arrested and detained and searched and all that kind of stuff for it.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
It's a bit of an overreaction.
It's crazy.
Anyway, Ryan's wanting to phone in. He's so
Is
far
he nipping at the bit? Chomping at the bit?
I don't think so. Well, yeah, we'll give him a call. It's easy as asking. Voice call. Skype. We're not phoning his mobile. I think I kind of got through all the stuff. I mean, there was a few more stuff, but
A few more stuff.
a few more items on the list.
On the agenda. I had stuff as well from the Facebook as well, Sam.
Hello.
Oh, in fact, do you know what? That's good timing, Ryan.
Wait, Sam, I think I've just knocked your camera there.
Alright, give us 1 second here.
Cool.
Because we need to make sure that people can see my beautiful face.
Right, what's happening, Ryan?
Not
Can
very
you
much,
turn Ryan
Paul.
up a bit? There he is.
Go for it, Ryan.
How's things?
Not bad.
That was a bit loud. But yeah, not bad, man.
Do you like my new haircut, Ryan?
Yeah, it's good.
Thanks.
Don't
Is
as cool
it-
as your t-shirt though.
I know, it's good, eh?
Aye.
Yeah, I really want to put mine on. I don't want to take my top off on the thing, but
On live TV.
Just put your t-shirt over your top.
it's just my offensive tattoos, mate. Offensive people. Offensive. No, that's actually a good timing, actually, because we were just talking about Google. And
Yeah.
one of the things you'd asked us to talk about was the Google Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I watched the advert for it and everything, and do you know what? I'm not a fan of it.
I've not seen an advert for it.
See, and I'll tell you why I'm not a fan of it. First of all, I think it looks fucking hideous.
Explain it to me.
So what it is, though, is like, it's a watch that is then, I don't know if it's just everything's in there and it's wireless connected to the Wi-Fi and all that stuff, or if it's somehow Bluetooth to your phone. I'm not quite sure how it works, but you can basically, it's like having, I guess it's like having an iPhone with Siri on it that's just kind of always listening, I think. And you can just always talk to it, you can always ask it questions and things like that. The thing is, though, I mean, are people really going to spend that much more money on this fucking watch when it's essentially doing the same thing as going into your pocket and pulling out your phone? It has to have more features than that, right? It has to have unique features. And, of course, one of the things it does have that's... But actually, I don't know, you probably can do this on your phone, where, like, it tracks your footsteps.
No, you can.
You can do that on your phone.
Aye.
Right, so this fucking watch is useless, right? Now, because when it's been proposed for a while, the iWatch, Apple's product.
Aye.
And
Samsung's got one as well.
Well, you can tell me what Samsung's doing differently.
I don't
because,
know what they are doing differently. I just know they've got to watch something, to be honest with you.
well, the thing that Apple is doing differently that then goes beyond, it's just a smaller version of some of the features that are on your iPhone, but you can have it on your wrist now, which I don't think is enough to convince people to
what
buy
can
it.
you really do with it though? Do you know what I mean?
Well, this is the thing that Apple's supposedly going to come out with is it has. In fact, I had it on the documentary, the healthcare bit, where it's like it registers your EKG and your everything about you. You know, all your health conditions. If you suffer from anything, if you have a heart attack, this thing will like detect that your heart rate's slowing down, all that stuff, whatever. That's the type of technology that you need to incorporate in it to make it different, because then it's always on you, it's always on your skin. It's something that you can't necessarily do with your phone, so it makes it the reason for having the watch. As far as I know, from what I've seen, the Google Watch doesn't do that. I might be wrong, but they didn't show anything like that. And so then if the appeal is just, well, look, it's some of the functions that are on your phone, but now you don't have to take your phone out of your pocket. People aren't going to fucking spend...
I don't see what the fucking point in it.
Yeah.
Like, what can you do in it that I don't see the need for it.
They're trying to
Other
market...
than it's like a fancy gizmo.
They're trying to market it as being more accessible and all that than what, though? Than pulling your phone out of your pocket? I mean, there probably are some...
What is it you can do on it? Like, I don't know what I would look at on my
Oh,
phone and
right,
be like,
so
I would rather do that on my watch.
So there's like a map. There's, you know, you can see where you are and directions and things
right,
like that.
Okay.
But you can do that
I'll
on your
give
phone.
you that. Aye, but...
Right.
Aye, okay.
Right. Yeah, there's voice calls, you know, because of Bluetooth. I'm sure it Bluetooths to your phone. I don't know if that's...
It will link up to it, but then how are you going to fucking... Do you know what I mean?
I don't know how they do that if you have to wear an earpiece and all that. I don't know how they do the thing, but you might not even need to use it as a phone actually, because one of the things you can do is talk into it. So you'll like tell Ryan Green to call in at 10:30 next week, and I'll message them, and so you could do that kind of stuff.
Aye.
But I mean, as far as I know, you can do that on the phones. It's not adding anything worthy, because these things aren't going to be cheap.
No, definitely.
So I mean, you will get some people to buy it, but is it really a strong, you know, thing to be pushing just now and all that stuff? Whereas the Apple thing at least has, because that's my fear, is people will buy the shoddier version of what the technology is supposed to be, and here then Apple come out with a new one that actually is designed for around healthcare rather than just here's some functions that your phone
that is
does.
really good. Because obviously you can take pulses from there and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. If you're out jogging, or if you're out, right? Say you're not. It's not like you're prone to getting a heart attack. If you're out and you get fucking hit by a car, right, and then this watch can determine that there's been a increase in your pulse or whatever. It will determine something's happened to this guy.
Yeah.
It can then say something. Tell me a code to let me know that you're okay.
Yeah.
Or the ambulance is getting phoned.
Yeah, it can do that.
And it'll thingy to your exact location. That's what people fucking...
Aye, that is handy.
That's handy.
And like, if you're out in a car yourself and you have a car crash and you're in the middle of nowhere, on some back road somewhere, it could phone the police for you, phone the ambulance and tell them where you are.
Now, if the Google Watch can do that, I stand corrected. But as far as from what I saw, it didn't have any of that stuff. And then whenever a shoddier version of something comes out, because as soon as it gets leaked that, well, Apple's thinking about doing this, all these other companies jump on board and say, well, we'll get our product in there first. And 9 times out of 10, it's a shoddier product, and then I just think it puts people off buying the one that's actually
the good one,
useful. Yeah.
Aye.
Apparently, to get full functionality out of it, though, you've got to incorporate it with Google Glass.
Right.
All right.
The two of them, if they're paired together, apparently the watch would have the ability that you could stream a video but watch it through your glasses, which to me is pointless, because I didn't want to walk down the street like watching YouTube.
Yeah, I suppose you need to, because otherwise you'll get hit by a car and then the fucking ambulance isn't going to come get you.
I mean, Apple, theirs could be cool, because like you get all those like the QR codes in that. If you were in a shop and you thought to yourself, oh, I wonder if they've got an app. Say you could scan it with your watch, and then it automatically downloaded an app to your phone or your iPad, so that when you got home it was there for you to use.
Yeah, but is there a thing when you've got? Are you talking about just downloading?
Yeah, I mean, like, say that the watch was just a watch, but it had these extra things, and one of the features was that it had the ability to download like an app from scanning a QR code or something onto your
Mhm.
or your iPad.
Yeah, but then I don't know why your phone couldn't just do that.
Aye, because you get that app, you get QR scanners for phones.
Well, the trouble I've got as well is like I've got a watch, I've got a phone. I never go out at any time and forget to lift my phone, but I never ever have my watch on.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, so if I've got a watch that's worth hundreds and hundreds of pounds,
Well,
the chances of me remembering them are slim.
I'll tell you, I also have a thing about watches, and you know, it's this accessory thing that where people will buy an expensive watch, and it's not more expensive because it has more functions.
Mm.
It's more expensive because it's this status symbol, and it's like, you know, oh well, mine's gold, or
Wearing a
mine,
Rolly.
yeah, or Rolly, and mine's got diamonds in it and stuff like that. Now, I hate that shit. I think it's so, like, you know, dumb. It's a dumb thing that humans
It's like a
do.
status thing.
Yeah, and there was a thing I watched recently about diamonds, and about how, like, the, you know, when you propose to someone, you give them this diamond ring, and about how that all came about, and it was all through, you know, marketing. Diamonds have no fucking intrinsic value for, you know, they do have an intrinsic value of, you know, industry, of it being a hard substance, and, you know, but it's not like gold. It's not like gold has a proper intrinsic value to, you know, if someone has gold, they can melt it down, they can fuck about with it. The average person can't do fuck all with a diamond.
No.
You know, it's good for industry, but
Yeah.
apparently they're not worth nearly what people are fucking paying
It's
for them.
because it's a diamond. Do you know what I mean? And everybody's like,
Yeah, but that's the thing, is it's artificial scarcity though. People think that these things are rare. Apparently they're not rare. Apparently the production gets held up when they want to increase the price and all that stuff. There's a lot of bullshit goes on, and this whole buying someone a diamond ring is apparently just a big advertising fucking campaign that we've all bought into, and we all accept, and we all think it's romantic, when we really were just spending a lot of money on something that while shiny, is pretty fucking useless.
there's no need for it to be so expensive.
There's no need for it to be so
And
expensive.
because it's expensive, it adds that value to it.
Now, but there's another thing as well about, like, you know, having luxury and status symbols and stuff. Like, because I had this conversation about, we were talking about, like, rappers, and, like, you see rappers will always buy, like, gold chains and things like
And
that.
they've changed.
And the conversation I was having, my friend was like, and I was agreeing with them to begin with, you know, I was like, yeah, they're useless. Then I thought about it, and I thought, you know what, they might not be doing it intentionally, but with the way that money's going, you're actually better off if you have if you want to try and have some sort of security in what might be financial collapse. Money's going to go to shit.
Buy gold.
Money's going to once the currency inflates. I mean, what was it, Zimbabwe? I think it was. Their currency in 2010 was almost identical to ours. It was like people were walking around with 5s, 10s, and 20s. And by 2012, I might be getting the dates here wrong, but their currency had inflated to the point where it literally wasn't worth. They were printing $1 trillion notes, and these $1 trillion notes were literally not worth the paper that they were printed on. Their money just became absolutely useless. So, like, if you can just now buy up something that might be, you know, because you always hear these people punting, "Oh, buy gold, buy gold." I'm not for it.
No.
Because I think I don't want to get in a fucking situation where, you know, if money goes, then that's our opportunity to say, all right, let's do away with this fucking barter trade system. Let's start talking about having a resource-based economy. That's what I would do. But from the point of view of these rappers, and, you know, it's not just rappers, but all these people who buy the gold chains and the bling and all this stuff, it's maybe not a dumb thing that they're doing it. It's maybe not like they're just, you know, wasting their money on buying all this
because that'll
shit.
still be worth the same amount of money depending on what the price of gold is.
Well, it's always going to be worth more than what the fucking paper money is.
Aye, the thing in Zimbabwe, I'm sure that happened in Germany after the war. They were printing out, like, people were burning money because it was worth more than, like, it was cheaper to burn money than to burn wood to heat the house.
Yeah.
Like, and they were getting paid in cash, in fucking wheelbarrows to cash.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? But this is like, so but I mean, with that aside, with, you know, the example of, you probably are better having, putting your money in, because even like buying houses and things like that and property, I don't know how sustainable that is. Because then say everything does go tits up and you've still got your fucking property tax and all that, and if you can't get a job, then they'll seize your assets and all that stuff. So maybe buying a house is not as much of a viable investment as people think. But if you've got a diamond or something that right now has this sort of perceived intrinsic value, it's maybe not as bad an idea. But I'm not for this symbol status of people just buying it. I've got a gold Rolex and all this stuff. So these unnecessary status symbols. So when the idea comes up that people might buy these watches, and I mean, fair enough, they might end up making the Rolex version of it.
No,
but
well, people make gold-plated iPhones and that, Sam, as well.
But you know what though, people there will be cheaper ones available over time, and you will then get a whole generation of people that just don't want to buy these fucking Rolexes because no one's going to wear two watches. So it forces people into a situation where they either buy the efficient one that can do everything and tell if you've fallen down and all that stuff, or you can go spend a lot of money on this gold Rolex that can't do any of that shit. And I like it as being like a sort of transition where all these Rolexes and all these fucking expensive watches just become redundant, just become absolutely obsolete, and everyone's just like, you want to buy him a watch? I'll trade you for the iWatch. And the guy with the iWatch is like, I'm good, man. I don't know what that is, but you go ahead and keep that. Well,
you've seen that when iPhones start, and even now, like, well, maybe not so much now, but I know when iPhones first came out, it was like a status symbol, like somebody pulled an iPhone, like, that fucking guy's got an iPhone, and like the white headphones and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it'll just be like that when that comes out. And people will want to be seen with iWatch.
Sorry, Ryan.
When iPhones came out, they were a total farce because I worked with Orange at the time, and it was only O2 that could get them. What they did was, when you went in to get an iPhone, they gave you the phone in a sealed box, and you then had to go home onto the Apple website and credit check yourself. If you failed the credit check, you then had to go back up to the shop the following day and return the phone.
All right.
I wonder though if that's Apple or if that's a policy of whatever shop was supplying them.
I think it was Apple because it was O2 that were that uniquely had them. So like they were or exclusively had them. So they credit check people every day for mobile phones. So Apple said everything's got to go through us. It was probably for their sales numbers to anticipate like.
The thing is, like, I mean, I do like Apple, and that can be criticized. Apple, because they are this having this monopoly and this thing. The way I sort of look at it is, right, okay, we live in a world where that happens. It just does. We live in a world where right now this is what happens, and it's fair enough being annoyed at the way the whole system works.
Yeah.
But when you put it into a context like this, right, if the way the system works is there's going to be one dominant company from time to time. For years, it was fucking Windows.
Aye.
And what did Windows give us? Sorry, Microsoft. But Microsoft, what did Microsoft give us? The same shoddy fucking format for fucking 10 years or whatever it was. Probably longer.
Aye.
Windows fucking 8. That's their biggest, newest overhaul of their system. Look, we're being different now. Alright. You're only doing that now because you're fucking losing.
I fucking don't like that. Is that what you?
Oh yeah, and they botched it.
It's fucking horrible.
Windows 8's terrible. But the thing is, and I get it, like, don't change what ain't broken, but for years we had...
That's too much I changed. It was ridiculous. I hated it.
Yeah, but for years we had, from Windows 95, yes, they improved some system stuff. They made it more efficient. They made it cope with the hardware that was improving, which was nothing to do with Microsoft. This was Dell and IBM and all this. They were creating the hardware that was then improving. So, of course, Windows have to update their operating system to keep up.
Yeah. But
Windows was I keep saying Windows. Microsoft and Bill Gates and Steve fucking Ballmer, who, if anyone doesn't know who Steve Ballmer is, he was the vice president of Microsoft, and he is the biggest fucking idiot you've ever seen in your life. Like, Seriously, I mean, you watch these videos. You get the comparison ones. Actually, it's quite funny. It's like, you know, CEO. I think I don't think he was like the vice president. I think Steve Ballmer was for years as well the CEO of Microsoft. And you see all these comparison videos, and it's like, here's the CEO of Apple, and Steve Jobs comes out, and he's like sort of explaining, you know, and this is what we're going to do with Apple, and you know, and we're calling it the iPhone, and everyone claps, and he's like, and then he's going in, and it's a big keynote presentation about the features and what it does. He's giving you all. He's telling you what it does. Cuts to Steve Ballmer at the Microsoft keynote. He comes out screaming, "Yeah! Yeah!" for about 10 minutes. Going up to the microphone, "I fucking love this company! Yeah!" And that's all he does.
Right? No speech.
And there might have been a speech of some kind in there somewhere. But for the most part, that's all it was. Big fat bald-headed buffoon walking around. And then you get Steve Jobs talking about how what we're gonna do with the new phone is, you see all these phones just now, and the Microsoft phone at the time, they were all trying to build like this mini keypad onto the device. And Steve Jobs said, well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take away the keypad, and we're gonna use software to have the keypad, because then you have, you know, the screen when you're watching a film or whatever, that then are doing other things, then that can be bigger. And then it cuts to Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer's getting told about this, and he's looking at the iPhone, and he's going, $500 and it doesn't even have a keypad?
Aye.
It's like, it doesn't need a keypad, you fucking idiot.
And that's like the standard now for phones, eh?
But this was what we had for years, was Steve Ballmer and Bill Gates. Talk about the monopoly. Bill Gates was the richest guy in the world. They could have fucking done anything. They could have revolutionized the world, right?
Just did the same thing, Sam.
And they just pumped out the same fucking shit. I mean, I don't know, maybe Bill Gates gives money to charity. I don't know how much he gives. I know they've got the foundation and all that, but you know, I'm not sure about Bill Gates specifically. But I mean, the studies show as well that the higher and up you go up the income chain, you know, like the less people, the more money you have, the less likely you are to donate to charity. And the people that do donate to charity, they donate the least percentage wise. People at the top, people like Bill Gates,
really,
they donate the least
they
percentage wise.
Fucking need that much money. Do you know what I mean?
But I'm not even, cause that's a separate issue as well. The point is though that they were in control for fucking ages, and they could fucking, Apple came along. They then got robbed by Bill Gates. Now there's a whole thing about this as well, but for people who don't know, so Apple was actually the company that was going to bring the mouse and that type of point click stuff and all that. They were going to bring that to market. Bill Gates and Microsoft was hired by Apple to design an office suite, to design you know, Word. It was going to be Microsoft Word, and you know, they were going to design this office
So they
package.
were hired by Apple.
Yeah.
Right.
But what Bill Gates did, now the thing was as well, what was Xerox? There was a company, you know, Xerox, the printers. They were becoming friendly with Apple. I'm not sure how it came about, but basically it was a sub team at Xerox that actually invented the mouse and the point click system and all that stuff.
Right.
Now Xerox didn't see any potential in it. They didn't get it. They just didn't whatever. So it was kind of shoved off to the side. And then it was like one of the guys at Xerox was friendly with Steve Jobs, and for some reason let him in and let him talk to us. But and Steve Jobs saw this thing with the point click, you know, thing, and was like, wow. And so he was like, okay, that's the best thing. We're using that. So he wanted to replicate that. Now, so the argument is, but he stole it from them. All right, fair enough. But he had the fucking ingenuity to see the good idea. Like that's what's needed. Then when that was getting big and everything, Bill Gates just said, oh yeah, well, we'll just copy that. And the whole thing that they'd been building for the Mac, Bill Gates just ripped off, came out with Windows, and of course it included their Office package and all that. And so then they kind of dominated. So even the fucking thing that we did get, for the most part, they fucking ripped off of Apple.
Aye.
And so, but then Apple kind of go under. They you know, they lost a lot of money and all that stuff. And then for years we're stuck with fucking Microsoft. That, yeah, they updated their system software, and I guess the graphics look better now on Windows 7 than they did in Windows 95.
Aye.
But that's the fucking bare minimum.
Aye.
of what
Just
they
change
could
it
have
from
provided.
shitty grey bars to blue and green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people can say, oh, well, Steve Jobs got his ideas from other people. Who gives a shit? All ideas are from other people.
Mm-hmm.
You can't come up with a fucking idea on your own. I'm telling you that right now. I challenge you. Come up with an idea. You can't. What you'll do is you'll take other people's ideas, play around with them, mesh them together. That's what Steve Jobs did. And the thing is, he was bringing this shit to market.
Mm-hmm.
And they were so different from other companies. Like, they didn't give a shit about, well, Steve Jobs anyway didn't give a shit about, making this big profit.
Mm-hmm.
His thing was like, let's make things that we enjoy. And he was really big into music, so he wanted to make the iPod.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all about, let's make a system that we want to be able to use that's good. And that's how they developed the iPod, and that's why the iPod's better, because they came up with the scrolling feature and all that stuff. Because that's what they took it from a backwards kind of approach.
Mm-hmm.
People in the industry would look around and say, what do we have? And let's try and mash that together into something that we can sell.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Steve Jobs was like, no, what do we want?
Mm-hmm.
And let's find the technology to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so they worked backwards like that. Bill Gates and fucking Steve Ballmer never contributed anything to fucking making people's lives better.
No.
Yeah, they stole the fucking shit off of Apple and made a lot of money off of it. But they didn't come up with it. And they didn't, the only reason they knew it was a good idea was because fucking Apple was going to do it. So
they just took what they had and then just took that.
So I despise Microsoft for being in the position that you're in. And then you look at Apple, and what are they doing right now? They're setting up their data centers, right? There's images of it online. It's all conceptual just now. They're building it. They are going to build it. In fact, they probably started building it. I'm not up to date with where they are with it.
Yeah.
And it's weird actually, because it kind of looks like something out of the Venus Project.
Right.
And what it is it's this big circular building.
Mm-hmm. Aye.
And it's all fucking green energy. It's all solar panels and fucking, I guess, wind and whatever else that's going to run it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to go, fucking well done, Apple. Right, yeah, you're a company in the world that we happen to exist in, and it's a monopoly and all that shit, and so you're subject to the same rules of corruption that anyone else in your position would be in. Like, when they're outsourcing, jobs and getting manufacturing done in possibly unethical ways, you're like, yeah, but I can guarantee you Microsoft was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, there doesn't have to be, but you know what I mean, in the context of having this type of system, there's going to be one company on top that behaves corruptly, that does all this stuff, but we had one for years that didn't give us anything.
No.
Other than here's updated graphics, and here it kind of works better. There's fucking, what Microsoft are known for, their fucking Office suite. Like, there's Open Office.
Mm-hmm.
There's open spreadsheets. There's all this open software.
A lot of people, I don't think, realise that, Sam. Do you know what I mean? Because you can pay. I'm sure you need to pay for Microsoft Office or Windows at the very least.
That's
anyway.
the thing that annoyed me, actually, because I had this conversation when I was at college. I was saying, can't there be some sort of program where you can come in here and learn? Because I first of all wanted them to switch. I was really ambitious, and I was like, I want you all to switch. You're paying a license fee to Microsoft for using their software. Why don't you have all the computers running OpenOffice and you won't have to pay this fucking license fee? And they were like, we can't do that because we are training people to then go off into the real world where everyone that gets a job is going to be using Word and Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel and all this stuff. So we can't train them with other software. And then you look at it, you can't go to a business either and say, why didn't you start using the open software? Their argument would be, well, we can't use open software because everyone that we're getting that's coming out of college and university is using Microsoft stuff.
Oh, it's fucking,
they're
that's
in this
backwards,
fucking catch-22. So I'm like, well, why don't you at least have a program where you can come into the library and at least do a course if you want?
On Open Office.
Yeah,
Aye.
Open Office. That way, like,
And the thing is, Sam, it can't be that hard to get used to. Like,
yeah.
Like, it can't be that different from Office or Word. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're equivalent. Like, it wouldn't be that. It's the same basic like, it does the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you learn one, it won't be too hard to transition to the
No.
other.
If you've got a
It's
bit of
just
a brain
so
cell.
wasteful.
I know it is.
You know, the fucking paying for license fees for software, especially, there should be a sell-by date. Like, there should be, like, once the software has been around for so long, just make it free.
Aye.
Because the thing is, like, Bill Gates, your fucking charity, you're giving money to charity. Why don't you make your fucking office suite free?
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, I know why, because then you're essentially putting yourself out of business. But guess what? Now, Apple, that's another great thing that Apple are doing, is they're making all their software, all their, is it all their software or all their like their operating systems and things like that, which Microsoft, if you now want to upgrade to Windows 8.1 or whatever it is, you have to pay for it.
Aye, they just update it automatically.
Now, if you own an Apple product, the operating system's free.
Yeah.
And that's what you fucking should be doing. Once you get to a certain point, make it free. Because once the software's made, you know, once it's built, it's built. Get a certain amount of money back. Work out how much it... I'm talking about loud here. Work out how much it costs to develop it. You know, get that money back. Maybe take a little bit of a profit. Reward yourself with, okay, this is... We've now been paid for doing the job, but maybe we'll also take a little bonus. You know, you can do that. But just having the fucking program just costing money endlessly, when if you did make it free, or you know what, if you just fucking accepted open source, you'd have other people improving it. Because I guess that's the argument, would be, no, but it has to be improved. They need to constantly get the payment back because they're constantly improving it. Fucking make it open source. Watch how fast it becomes the best, office suite in the world.
Definitely.
Yeah, so sorry, Ryan, do you have any other questions? We're kind of ignoring you slightly.
Well, while we're on the subject of technology, have you heard of Project Morpheus?
Project Morpheus?
Yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
It is Sony's virtual reality headset that they're releasing for the PlayStation 4.
Alright.
It's pretty cool. It's basically like a black
Sam missed what you said.
Sorry,
when
I was
off.
thinking I'm gonna go put my shirt on now while you're talking, but then as soon as I took my headphones off, I realised, oh yeah, I can't hear you without my headset. Sorry, dude. Yeah, it's a virtual reality headset. Is it kind of like the Oculus
This was
Rift?
actually on the Facebook list to talk about virtual reality, so this covers it.
It's got like a 1080p screen in front, and it gives you a 90-degree field. So if you're standing as a character, you can turn your head like the left to centre or the right to centre to see what's coming at you.
Are you talking about it's a headset like the Oculus Rift?
Yeah, it's a headset that you wear, yeah.
Right.
A set for your head?
No, it's like a face mask.
Oh shit, the fucking the beers.
Aye. We'll get beers.
Are they not in the freezer?
Aye.
It works through head orientation and movement, so it's like tracked for an accelerometer and a gyroscope. And if you use the PS camera, if you turn your body around, it turns you around in the game.
Alright, so you don't need the whole Oculus Rift and all that kind of carry on, like the walking thing.
It's got 3D stereoscopic sound as well, so if you look in a different direction, it turns the sound as you would hear it in real life.
Oh wow.
So like if the birds are tweeting on your right hand side and you turn your head to the left, they'll maybe come from behind you.
Alright.
It sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I think I've seen a demo of it actually, now that you're talking about it.
I've not.
But the Oculus Rift one's the one that I usually follow. And I just think it looks amazing. It was one thing actually, I had a brief couple of seconds in my film where I was talking about the entertainment side of going into the future.
Oh, you're talking, I'll get the beer, Sam, so I can hear you. So
I was talking about like there was a line and I said something like, that's not even to mention the explosion in entertainment. And it's true, because the fucking future of entertainment, we have like on the iPad, they replicate if you go on Google Street View, you can hold the iPad up and spin it round and it will actually track you through. It'll be like you're actually standing in the street.
Augmented reality, Sam.
Augmented reality. And it's just amazing. And although, I mean, that's not the exact same thing as having the headset over you and having the rest of your vision blocked out and all you can see is you're there. But it gives you that sort of feeling of it, like you can imagine what it's going to be like. And it's one thing I would have liked to talk about more on, because in terms of appreciating technology, and I can't stand that people fear technology.
No.
When, you know, how helpful it is, how beneficial it is, but also how much fun we're going to get out of it. How much people talk about the world's going to be boring, you know, if no one has a job, everyone's just going to sit around. Fuck that. Like, we're going to have the fucking Oculus Rift. Or like, Sony's thing.
You'll be able to stay in your house, but like talk to each other.
You'll be able to
around as if you were hanging out together.
You'll be able to sit in your living room and say, "Oh, I'm gonna go play poker with a couple of my friends," And it's not just like a fucking game on the iPad where you're sliding the cards about.
You can sit in a
You're
room.
sitting and you're looking around and you're like, there's Paul, there's Ryan, there's Chris Fleming.
Yeah.
What's he doing? I thought I blocked him.
I just seen that Johnny Lee Memphis is going to be playing at the Edinburgh Corn Exchange in later on this year, and it's like £20 a table, and you've got to book it in like groups of 8 and stuff.
Oh my
But
god.
it's some big Elvis anniversary thing.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
he's doing well.
Just Google it, it's online just now.
Yeah, he's doing well for himself, isn't he?
Yeah.
What about like, right, see when the Wii came out, I was first like, I remember when the Wii first came out and I was like, who's going to want to fucking sit every time they want to play a game, they need to be standing up and swinging their arms about? Like sometimes you just want to sit down, do you know what I mean? Like how easy is this to play? Like can you literally sit on your couch and play these games, Ryan
You
Green?
could lie in your bed and play it.
But then I suppose you could, but then I feel like if you're wanting the full immersive experience, like say you're walking about a forest or something, or like they make a Grand Theft Auto and you're walking about the city and that, like
No, but
that'd be nuts, eh?
Well,
have you never like been watching a TV program where like it's focused over the edge of a building for ages, and you start like sitting there feeling yourself swaying?
well,
Mm.
yeah,
Watching
yeah, yeah.
the screen in front of your eyes, and it was so close to you. And
Aye.
it was in like a dark environment. Your body would start to sense that you were there.
Yeah.
So like
There-
once
there
if
was-
you were just lying in your bed, once you've walked about in your head using the headset,
I
after,
suppose you would get used to it. That would be how you would.
it would change your body's feel so that
Aye.
it felt like you were there.
Yeah. Do you know
Aye.
what as well? Because I've seen a video on that where they're talking about the experience of just again with the Oculus Rift. If anyone doesn't know what the Oculus Rift is, Google that shit right now because it's fucking amazing.
Mhm.
But so they're saying they put it on, they go over to the edge of a cliff, and they get the genuine feeling of being at the edge of a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
And I've kind of wondered how it would affect me because I've actually got a weird phobia that I'm probably not a lot of people know about, but I've got this thing called batophobia, which is
Fear of
this-
Batman.
it's a fear of Batman. No, it's not a fear of Batman. No, it's weird as well because whenever you tell people about it, yeah, it's called batophobia, they think it's to do with bats. Oh, you've got weird
Aye.
fear of bats. No, it's nothing to do with bats. It's very similar to a fear of heights, except I don't have to be up high, right? So if I'm standing next to something tall, like a very tall building,
Mm-hmm.
or if I'm walking about and there was like a hot air balloon or something in the sky, my body would just shuts down and I can't move. I feel like it's a strange feeling. I feel like I'm actually going to drift away. like gravity's just going to turn itself off and I'm just going to float up. It's this weird fucking reaction that I get.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know where it comes from. I've got a few ideas actually as to where it comes from. But so it got me thinking, I wonder if then I can use the Oculus Rift to sort of overcome this phobia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if a game is immersive enough and it feels like you're actually there, and if I'm standing next to tall buildings doing things that I would otherwise not be able to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I know, you know, although my body would react a certain way, I know that I'm in the comfort of my own home.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I'm all right.
It's weird that your body
Yeah,
would
but then-
essentially trick you into thinking things.
Yeah.
Like-
But then if you changed and you suddenly like got a fright and fell forward in your like virtual reality state, you would physically think you were falling.
Aye.
And I mean that could like lead to fear, it could cause
Like-
a heart attack or
I
Mm.
I even get that. See sometimes like having like played Grand Theft Auto and that, like particularly like, the recent one. Like I just think with the graphics and stuff like that, like if you're falling off something higher, like do you know that kind of feeling you get a bit in your stomach and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? And you kind of get a feeling that you're like falling for like a height.
I was actually just going to say, because you mentioned Grand Theft Auto, there's someone who actually modded, because you get Grand Theft Auto not just for the consoles, you can get on the PC, and someone modded the way that you play with it, right? So they actually set up, there's a thing called an Omni treadmill,
Right.
which is like, it's designed for using with the Oculus Rift, where it's like this treadmill where it's like you can walk in any direction.
Mm.
And so they hook it up with the Oculus Rift, and the treadmill's set to be your movements, and they use Grand Theft Auto. So they're walking about in Grand Theft Auto with the Oculus Rift, and they actually have a thing where when you get into the car, then there's like this harness on it, and it actually makes the guy sit down. So he's
Really?
actually in the car driving about.
Oh
Now,
my
it's,
god!
it's not.
And do they have like?
It's not perfect, and of course the graphics aren't as brilliant as what you would want from an immersive experience and all that. But it's still fascinating.
It could totally fuck with your senses though. Like, imagine, like, you would essentially, your brain would be in a place where it's never had to deal with that much fakeness coming in, if you know what I mean. Like no, you're saying about lying down in your bed playing it, Ryan.
Yeah.
Like, if you see you're wearing your Oculus Rift or your what was the Sony thing called, the Morpheus?
Project Morpheus is what it's called now.
Say you're lying in your bed playing Project Morpheus, and you're lying there, and then you think your brain would eventually just trick itself into thinking that it's standing up.
Yeah, because you'd be in such close proximity to the screen, and everything would be black.
Aye, but then it would really fuck you up when you actually took it off, and then like it would confuse your brain. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, well, your senses would change, so what you were seeing in your eyes was actually what you were looking at in the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So you would get to the point where you thought you were there, and because your senses changed, like if Sam was standing on the cliff and he fell forward in the game, because he's thinking he's falling forward, he would
Aye.
like he'd get that sense of it.
I was listening to a thing, Ryan, about that. It was that Commander Chris Hadfield, the guy that was in space for ages, the Canadian fella. I think we've talked about him before, but he was saying like when he was in space, like all the little bones in your ear that control your balance and stuff like that, because they're in gravity and they essentially just lose all sense in them, because you're floating about and you've not got an up or a down or whatever. He says when you go back to ground, they're really fucked up and you're feeling dizzy, like off balance and all that kind of stuff because you're so off.
And Chris Hatfield, he was tweeting pictures of him getting all the tests done. They put him on a table and like they pulled his arms and stuff to make sure that his bones like were able to withstand the pull.
It's crazy. What was the other thing I was going to say? Just another thing about senses as well. I remember I heard something ages ago about a guy that like wore glasses, and he wore these glasses for like 6 months, right? But these glasses inverted his vision. Sorry, we okay?
Yeah.
These glasses inverted his vision, so he would see everything upside down. Like, so if he's sitting at his table, like the table would be up there and the beer would be there and the microphone's there.
Oh,
and he wore
weird.
it, and he wore these glasses, but he adapted to it.
Yeah.
So that was just normal for him. Like he learnt. Like, see if it was me and I put the glasses on now, I would be sitting like that trying to reach my beer.
Yeah.
And this adapted to it, and he was fucking riding bikes a bit and everything. And then he takes them off, and he fucking was like he couldn't process it because his brain just gets that into that way of thinking that this is how he coordinates himself. You know what I mean? It's
Then he'd have
fucking
to
really
relearn.
weird.
It's the same. I mean, when people not necessarily born blind, but they may become blind after a few years, they end up their hearing becomes so impeccable because then that's all they have to work with, you know.
Aye.
So it's adaptation.
It becomes heightened.
Yeah. And it becomes like a superpower.
See,
I wonder if you could train yourself, you know, to heighten all your senses, sort of equally.
just by like cutting them off one by one and then bringing them all back in one go.
Yeah, but maybe you could do it in a
Everything
way.
would be super intense. I mean, you'd be sitting like fucking like that all the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, but maybe you could do it in a way where it was. I don't know if there'd be enough time to have any sort of an effect, but you know, maybe. In fact, you know what? I did a similar thing. Because I was going to say, like, imagine you had like a blindfold on, and you, for the first couple hours of the day, you know, you're walking about with a blindfold on, then you take it off. Like, you know, over time, would that have an effect on your hearing? I think it probably would, because I was going to say I did a semi-similar little experiment. I used to do a thing where every morning I would get up and like I'd fill up the sink with water, and I started off kind of doing it just to wake myself up, because I thought cold water just like absolutely just wakes you up, gets you ready for the day, better than a cup of coffee. And but then so I started seeing how long I could hold my breath underwater, and I can't remember what the time I had eventually got up to. When I first started doing it, I was really bad, but the more and more I did it, it was like, I got really, really good at holding my breath.
Aye.
And I mean, I suppose that's not really a sensory thing, but I mean, maybe that's sort of just like training,
That is just
muscle
like training
kind of thing.
anyway.
But another weird thing as well is because I went through a phase of doing the cold shower. It's not the right thing to say, but I call it the cold shower diet. And it's Tim Ferriss's stuff, and it's all about how having a cold shower basically triggers a hormone called anapineptin, and it basically can help you increase how much fat you're burning and all that stuff. So I was doing cold showers, and initially the first couple of days, I was like, this is so fucking cold. But, you know, a few weeks in, and it's not like you just go in and have a shower. You have a normal shower, but then before you come out, you then turn it to a cold setting.
Mm-hmm.
A few weeks in, I was turning it to the absolute coldest setting, and I'm like standing under it, and I'm like, this is doable, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It become like I felt like my skin was just completely
Numbed it.
adapting to it. So it's fascinating how quickly you can
Mm-hmm.
sort of change your responses. And so I wonder, you know, a couple hours every day with a blindfold.
I suppose it's just like working out in a way.
Paul, you know what? We've done this weird thing, right? Where 1 week the podcast will be all jokey and we'll be having loads of fun.
Aye, I know.
And then the next week
It's
it'll
dead
be
serious.
like, yeah, I'm gonna.
I find this one quite interesting, Sam. I feel like I've learned quite a lot.
Well, yeah, it was like last week was our jokey one, and then
Mhm.
I was thinking to myself, I was actually saying this to my brother, I'm like, I'm gonna have to really try and like make some jokes tonight just to break the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like this has been quite a sort of
Aye, but
less
I think
jokey
it's in
one
the
as
same
well.
way that like it's just where it's went. Do you know what I mean?
I'll
So
change the topic. I was looking for something for Sam and Emily to watch yesterday, and I stumbled upon a new Scooby-Doo movie, or a cartoon, but it's called Scooby-Doo WrestleMania Mystery, and it's in association with WWE. So WWE
Really?
and then something goes wrong, and Scooby-Doo gets called in to save the day. But like John Cena's in it, and the proper superstars voice their characters.
yeah,
Oh my god.
I've seen the trailer for it. I haven't actually watched it though. But you know what else they've done? And it's such a blatant tactic. What they've done now is they've got this new cartoon series, sort of animated series, called WWE Slam City.
Right.
And what it is basically the WWE came out with these toys that I just think if I was a kid and I was into WWE and I was wanting to get the toys, I would be so disappointed that this was the fucking toys that they were coming out with. They
Right.
look fucking awful.
Right.
Right?
Slammers.
Yeah, and I think that they're sort of maybe struggling to sell them or whatever it is, but they've sort of launched this animated series as a way to try and sell these toys. And I don't necessarily have a problem with it because you look into it and lots of the animated series that we watched that we really liked when we were growing up, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and all that,
Yeah.
like they were based around selling toys.
Mm-hmm.
The idea was we could sell toys by making these cartoons. So it wasn't like
Aye,
they
how
made the
can you sell a
cartoons.
toy to it?
Yeah, it wasn't like they made the cartoons and the cartoons did really well and then they thought, well, now maybe we should make some toys. The toys was the reason that
Aye.
they started doing it. So, I mean, this is a similar kind of thing. But what they've actually done first is it feels like they made the toys didn't sell, they look horrible.
They do look. I'm just looking at pictures of them now,
Yeah,
Sam. They
they
look
look-
ridiculous.
Yeah, Google fucking WWE Slam City or whatever it is. The
Aye.
Slammer toys. They are horrible fucking toys. and so now it just seems like they've strung this animated series together to try and they really want to sell these toys. And I just feel bad for the kids.
They're just being cheated out of good toys.
Yeah. And you just think, oh, you scumbags. Like, you know, you're just the only reason this animated series exists is so that you can try and sell the toys.
I seen a funny animated thing today, Ryan, talking about kids shows. Do you know the show Arthur?
Yeah.
It's like a CBBC show. I seen it. I don't know if it was today or the other day. So they did this episode of Arthur, right? And the kids were sitting around the table talking about.
Is that the one with the mouse? He's
He's
or
like a
something?
mouse. I think he might be an anteater or something.
Yeah,
Arthur
yeah.
the anteater. I fucking don't know,
Yeah.
but they're all really weird.
I
looking
used to
things.
watch that.
And there's like a rabbit and all this kind of stuff.
Aye.
And so they're sitting around the table and they're like, I don't know if they've like written a story about their lives or like just a story about them. But when they tell their story, it's like parodies of it, right? So fucking one parody of it like is like Dexter's Lab, right? And one of them's like in a laboratory and the animation's done exactly like Dexter,
Oh, yeah.
right? It's fucking really weird. What's the next one? Beavis and Butthead. The two of them are sitting in the front row going and they don't like. I swear to God,
Arthur.
Arthur. They were exactly like Beavis and
That
Butthead.
was like that was every day as you're walking down.
Aye, that one.
you know,
Oh, dude, can we put on the theme tune?
Yeah.
We'll just sing it
I want to put it on.
every day as you're walking down the
Wait a
street.
minute, I'm gonna get
Oh
it
wait,
on
Sam,
YouTube
I've
here.
got one. There was one more parody though.
Okay, tell me.
South Park. They had the
Yeah.
fucking cardboard like cutouts and that, and they're all fucking like. And one of them was even laughing like Cartman and had a Cartman voice in that. It's fucking really weird.
That's mad. I
It
never
is.
heard of that. Oh my god, we're gonna play
Every
this song.
day as you're walking down the street,
I don't know if we'll get taken off of YouTube for playing this, but
all
fuck
the
it.
people that you meet,
Have an original point of view.
I don't know if
and
you'll,
they say, hey.
What a wonderful time to play.
I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, Ryan. Probably not.
Every day when you're
Walking down the street,
and everybody that you meet has an original
point of view.
and I say,
Hey, what a wonderful kind of day when you learn to work and play and get along with each other. Really reggae.
Listen to the beat.
Listen to the rhythm of the street. Open up your eyes, open up your ears.
get together and make things better.
For working together, it's a simple message, and it comes from the heart. Believe in yourself.
That's the
Place
Place
to start. And I say,
Hey, what a wonderful kind of day.
hey,
learn to work and play.
Hey,
and get along
with each other.
I really hope we don't get taken off of YouTube for that.
Oh, I know.
You know
That
what?
was a great. We should do that again.
If we do,
Could
it
we
was-
have a feature of that in the show, Sam? TV shows from the past theme tunes or something like that.
I
And we
don't
can
know,
sing along to them.
I'd like to, but there might be rules against it.
I know. What if I don't know them and all that kind of stuff?
I can
I
hear
can hear
Hazel.
laughing.
I can hear Hazel laugh. Yeah.
Sing along now, make you feel a little bit better.
Were you able to hear that, Ryan?
I didn't need to know because she's done a good enough job, so.
Thanks, Ryan.
Just the way it's set up, yeah. I figured you wouldn't be able to.
I never realised that was so like reggae in that.
No, I didn't
It's
really.
such a
yeah.
hippie
It
song,
made
eh?
me think of like apparently there's one called Rasta Mouse. I haven't seen it, but I've been told about it. Apparently, it's awful because it's like a toddler sort of program,
Mhm.
and it's apparently teaching them a bad way of talking.
Aye.
Later on, what you need to do, right, is you need to go into YouTube and open Rasta Mouse, and there's one called Rasta Mouse in the Lost, like reggae or something, and you need to put on Skindred, their new song "Kill the Power."
Right.
Right.
You start the Skindred song, and then you mute the Rasta Mouse, and you push play on the video. And at the very start, like when the guitar kicks in, Rasta Mouse starts his wee guitar.
Right.
And if
Oh,
you
yeah.
watch the video and listen to the song, it'll let me out what happened.
Really?
That's quite
Yeah,
funny.
I did this myself just because we went to see Skindred, and when I came back, I couldn't stop thinking about Rasta Mouse.
Me-
So I just,
Me and my friend Gerald used to do that. Actually, like I remember that years ago. We used to put on something like it would be something like the Muppets or something like that, where it
Mhm.
was like, or maybe just like a cartoon where it's like you couldn't really word out what they're saying
Mhm.
just by their lips, right?
Mhm.
And we'd put on like rap music.
Aye.
We'd put on like ICP or something, and we'd be like killing ourselves laughing, looking at fucking Muppets like talking shit. Oh yeah, that's fun when you do that. But yeah, you do get some of them that sync up properly. Is there not like a Wizard of Oz one or something like that where
yeah, it's with Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Wall.
right? That's what it is. Yeah,
Mhm.
and apparently it all syncs up right or something.
Aye.
Actually, do you know what? You don't need to play the two different videos. I bet you someone's already made.
Aye, somebody
them
will have done
together.
it.
Download it. I've got it. I can't even remember what to call it now. Though it's the Dark Side of Oz. I think you've got to Google.
So Google the
Right.
Dark Side was. We've not actually had too many plugs this week, have we?
Well, we've had an anti-plug.
Oh yeah.
My bills are okay now, so I think the pounds went away. So
So what was that anti-plug again? What was it?
Fraser's Bakery and Sockery.
Fraser's Bakery and Sockery. And Sockery.
Sockery.
You should know that all that comes out of Socky.
Sorry if that was racist.
I just love when you went, Sockery! And then you went, I take it back.
I hear you're a racist now, father.
私は日本語が少しわかります.
Oh, sorry, you've just fucking overdone any racism that I just did, Sam. It's a simple
I said that to-
message.
I said that to a girl. I've told you this story before, I think.
What's that?
I loved it though. I was on a plane one time, and there was like this Japanese girl
Mm-hmm.
sitting next to me. We just happened to be sitting next to each other, and I was kind of trying to be polite and whatever. We were talking. I was like, "Are you from Japan?" And she's like, yes, Japan. And I was like, 私は日本語が少しわかります。でもまだ上手じゃありません.
Mm-hmm.
And she did this thing that I didn't know people really did in real life, where like she had this like little sort of excitement. She went and she went and did like
Did
this
she?
double clap thing, and it was like she's like like,
Aye?
and I was like, wow, they really do that. Like it's not just on anime or something like that.
What did you say to her in English?
I just said I understand a little bit of Japanese. I'm not very good at it yet though.
That's good, Sam.
I could have said Genki desu ka?
What does that mean?
It's just like, how are you?
Arigato, Dr. Roboto.
Yeah, anyway, we should probably end the show. You didn't have anything else you want to say, Ryan?
Nah, that was it.
Well, I think we're just about, we're out of time.
I feel like we always put up every week suggestions for things to talk about, and I don't think we ever fucking get round to them. So apologies to people that if we don't get around to a topic, but
we do try.
If we do try, but don't let that deter you from posting up topics or repeating topics or whatever like that.
Or you know what? If you feel pissed off, like we haven't mentioned something you wanted us to mention, guess what? Skype's right there, motherfucker. Phone in.
Well, fucking Ryan Green hogs the Skype all the time.
He does, but it's alright. No one else is called, so it's fine.
Did you just hang up on him?
No, he's still
Sorry,
there.
just because you pushed a button when I said that there.
But no, he's still there. He's
hanging on.
But look, don't feel like you're interrupting us either. Like,
no, I don't at all.
If you want to phone in at any point, don't feel like you're interrupting Ryan either. He's fucking bored of being on here every week now. So
Not at all.
don't worry about it. But yeah, it's not like you have to know what you're talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time.
I know. I feel bad as well because see, sometimes when people put up a topic, I'm like, oh fuck, I don't know enough about that. Like I think Hannah Ford put up today on the thing Russia, and I was like, I fucking don't know enough about the whole Russian thing. I know a wee bit, but I was like, I would have to read up about it. Do you know what I mean? Before I could have a fully formed opinion on it.
We're getting assigned homework, and we're like, look, Hannah, well, we need the fucking t-shirts, alright? Just leave us alone.
Yeah, I know.
Talking about fucking Russia.
What I would like is some hypothetical questions. That's what I like. Do you know, like, what about that? What if this happened? What would you do? Do you know, stuff like that? Like,
sort of thought exercise. Alright, well, look, the fucking Facebook's there.
We could put up hypothetical things for next week.
Yeah, man. Give us a shout.
Right.
Join in the conversation. Be sure to like and share and tell all your friends.
We're 2 off 100.
We're 2 off 100.
Off on the Facebook likes.
Awesome.
So let's get us to 100.
Yeah, man.
Is the Facebook link on the YouTube page?
I'll get up there.
Right.
But
Good stuff.
Hold on. Once again, we come to the end of the show. You have been watching the Chairman of the Board with me, Sam Vallely,
That was very fucking professional, Sam. I didn't expect that. Have you practiced
No, that was from the heart, man.
It's beautiful, man.
I'm getting so used to doing this now. It just feels kind of more
good
natural.
episode, Sam. Episode 5.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Is
Thanks
that
so much for the
anniversary?
fucking t-shirt.
Is 5 a milestone?
I
10's
don't
a
know,
milestone.
Tens.
Then we're in double digits.
Yeah, 10's the milestone.
Double dipping.
Shows we're committed to it. No, but look, the t-shirt, that is... I did not expect that. That's awesome.
Maybe if we get interest, we
Wait a minute, why is mine bigger than yours? No, look.
It's perspective, Sam.
It's awesome.
You're closer to you than you're to mine.
That's so cool. I'm quite impressed. So yeah, thanks for everyone watching. I just
Thanks
fucking
for
did
everyone.
it. I just totally did it
Sorry,
accidentally.
Sam.
Accidentally.
Thanks for everyone. Thanks for everyone watching.
All right, we'll get Ryan in on this as well.
It's a simple message.
In fact, we'll let Ryan say his name as well. So we'll do the whole. I'm Sam.
And I'm Paul.
And I'm Ryan.
Thanks for everyone.
Well done, Ryan.
Selfies without makeup on.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you look through Facebook, just about anybody's Facebook, they go through and it's all just these pictures and then comments. Every comment is to do with this. It's like it's kind of taken over in one day. So it's kind of cool that way. But what do you think about it?
I don't know. Like for ages, I
have
was
different opinions on it. Obviously,
I do. When I was looking at it, I was like, I don't see how it helps people just taking photos. But then I seen some people saying like, oh, like you can text to donate £3 to breast cancer. But for ages, it was just people saying, like, it was just people putting up selfies at each other. And I was like, well, what good does it do? It's like, that thing saying like, hit like if justice should be done or something like that. And you're like, well, hitting like doesn't really do anything. Yeah, it's like that. Unless you're actually putting money to a charity.
I think there is an initial sort of reaction that people have, and they'd say, "How is?" It's so easy to have that reaction of, "How is you not wearing makeup helping anything?" And I mean, Ryan had a point about it on one of his posts. He was saying, "It's not like people aren't aware of
cancer.
Yeah. I don't know though. I mean, the WWE do a thing. They do a thing about once a year where they've got like a big month-long campaign, and it's not necessarily because I had the same reaction when the WWE were doing it. I'm like, what is this? Like, but people they know that cancer's a thing. It's not like you're informing anyone of anything, but supposedly the real reason behind doing it is not just to say cancer exists. It's to encourage people to go get checked, which is things that people, if they're aware that there's cancer, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to feel any sort of need to go get checked. And so, and that type of raising awareness, if the message behind it is also, but go get checked. Don't just oh, this thing exists. Yeah. Go get checked. And this is trying to encourage people to then go do it.
Is that what it is?
Sooner than later. Then I appreciate and understand it. I see the merit in it from that point of view. And the thing is, whether or not you think it's a silly thing, we're talking about it. Everyone on Facebook's talking about it, and so it's now a thing. And maybe that information will slip through to the point where people do start thinking, maybe I should go get checked. So I definitely think there's merit in it. Of course, it's a thing that people are aware of, but just having it sort of a reminder, I think there's a merit in that. And even if they did it next year, and even if it was, people would probably have a reaction where they'd say, "You did this last year, and it did nothing. We didn't solve cancer." I don't know if it's necessarily about solving cancer. Yeah, it might just be getting people's minds so that they go out and get checked. And so from that point of view, then I'd be like, all right, no, it's well worth doing, because it takes you a couple of seconds. You're going to learn anything watching this. This is just if you're bored and have nothing else to do.
That's it. Chairmen of the Board.
Just enjoy it. But, there's a few things to talk about. First of all, let's talk about this. What am I drinking, Paul?
Frappuccino.
Tell the people.
So am I.
We don't do sponsors or anything, but I love the shit. And, McDonald's is fucking bad for you. I'll tell people right now, stay away from McDonald's. Unless you're going to get a frappy, a caramel frappy. These things, I'm fucking addicted to these things.
I think they're lovely, Sam. I've got a really sore throat, and it's actually helping me. But I don't know how caffeine makes you a poo as well. I think coffee wakes my bowels up, Sam.
Right.
But this is cold, so I don't know if it probably was just a chicken from Fraser's Bakery in Soggy.
So it's kind of like bowel medicine, is what you're saying?
No, it's the No, wait a minute.
No, this. You said this is good.
No, that's good for my throat, because my throat's sore.
Right.
Wait a minute, Sam.
What we forgot?
I'm actually roasting. Can I take my shirt off?
You can take as many pieces of clothing off as you want, Paul. This is your show as much as it is mine.
You can talk now and start on your notes.
We'll just have to put an 18 certificate on the thing if we go too far, but that's alright. Again, if I'm too loud or anything, let me know, because it's hard for us to really judge it. If this sounds crap, it looks really low on there actually.
Look at this Sambo.
Wow. How did you get that? Oh no, you got one for me.
I got one for you too.
Oh, awesome. That is cool. Well done. And you told me you had nothing.
That's
today.
all I've got.
This is something, Paul.
That's my fucking bag of tricks done.
That's awesome. I don't want to take my top off though.
That's alright.
Is there something on the back? Oh, it's a sticker.
It's a sticker.
Oh wow, we now have official Chairman of the Board
These
t-shirts.
are the only two in existence, Sam.
Give me a little second just to adjust the volume here. I know I'm bad for this, and I apologise. Right. That's awesome. Chairman of the Board t-shirts.
I know, it's quite cool.
You fucking surprised me with that one on air. That's a privilege right there.
Good day.
That's awesome. I'm speechless.
You can wear it next week, Sam.
No, I will. I'll change into it. Just I'll wait till you're on like a big monologue and then I'll run off.
You could have had it when I was doing the poo monologue.
The poo monologue.
Anyway, what have you got, Sam?
I've got a few things I wanted to talk
I
about.
hear you're bursting with content.
Yep. I can never get the levels right on this mic. Yeah, the first thing, I don't. You've been at work all day. I don't even know if you've noticed this or anything like that.
What?
There's this sort of campaign. I think it started today because it's only today that I've noticed it, where it's all about raising awareness of cancer.
The selfies.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so everyone's taking posts like, you can't tell, but I'm not wearing makeup in this picture.
Mhm.
Right? You're still following the rules.
Right.
But you can't make jokes like that. People are too sensitive about it. Like,
Mhm.
and I guess maybe they have a right to be because it is such a serious issue, and they don't want to chance anyone not taking it for the serious issue that it is.
Mhm.
But I posted something as well about what was that said?
You're being controversial, Sam.
I mean, I don't think I was being too controversial. I was just kind of sort of making a point, though, you know, because people will latch on to campaign, but a lot of people don't really think about other things. So I tried to hijack what was going on to try and just bring up a different point, and that was about, you know, ouch.
Sorry, Sam. Gets you back for last week for that brrr thing. Right.
Yeah, I was saying about, I can't even remember what I said now. No, like, how did I word it? That's what I'm trying to figure out in my head.
It was something about
It was something
you shouldn't
about,
try and
like, you know,
cure cancer
yeah.
because then how will
Yeah, it was like, you know, oh, that was it. I was
How
saying
you
I'm all
generate
for
profit or
I'm all
something
for
like
this kind of promotion of, you know, trying to bring about a good cause and all that.
Mhm.
But why would anyone want to cure cancer?
Mhm.
Because think about all the jobs that
Mhm.
you'd be destroying the economy.
Aye.
And I'm joking, but at the same time, it's like, think about it.
Aye.
Think about it, like, legitimately, if you are not part of the zeitgeist movement and you're not aware or you're not in favour of an alternative type of economy and you're quite happy with capitalism, you think capitalism works,
Mhm.
if cancer got cured, how could you celebrate that? Because the economy would just decline so fast.
Mhm. I know what you're saying. I think I knew I got it when you put it up because I knew where you were coming from, because obviously people find ways to profit off things. Do you know what I mean? Like, what was the guy that had the cure? He invented the cure for polio, and I'm sure it was in one of the Zeitgeist films or something. And people were like, it might not have been polio, it might have been some other disease, but people were like, everybody was like trying to like buy the cure for this much money so they could make money off it, like so they could sell the cure to people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But he was like, no, I'm going to just put it out there and just everybody can have it for free.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's like a kind of example of, like, if they did have a cure for cancer and the guy was like, well, they were like, well, we can even make money off this for now and milk it a bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And you know what? I may be wrong, but I'm not sure if there was like already an established sort of cure that they were making money off of, that then this guy came in and fucked everything up, or if there wasn't any sort of cure. And
It could have been like a cheaper or an alternative cure.
See, I don't know. I don't know what the scenario was, but compare it to the internet.
Right.
The guy who invented, he didn't invent the internet. He invented HTML, which is because the internet isn't just Facebook, and I mean people probably know this, but the internet can just be take a picture, maybe a
It's
couple more if
easy
you
to
need to wipe your.
But
makeup
it's like,
off.
it's easy to do. It's just one of the things. It's easy to do. It's easy to just take a photo of your makeup off, and like you're doing your bit. But then, like, I think a lot people. I've seen people putting like screenshots up of texting the number and all that kind of stuff and saying like your donation has been received. But then I think some people are just like, I don't know. Like, just like. I'd like to think that they all are donating as well. I seen a thing though before I came on about it was like the next thing, and it was like a sock and a cock, and like it's to raise awareness for testicular cancer. So guys are have to pose with like a sock on their cock. Basically.
I hadn't been aware of that, but I was actually thinking this was something from back when the WWE did their whole thing, because the WWE's thing, it wasn't just about cancer, it was about breast cancer specifically. And I mean, you look into the statistics, the amount of deaths per whatever type of cancer. There's more people dying from prostate cancer. There's more men. Men are dying from prostate cancer, more so than women are dying.
Is that what Movember's for? Is that prostate cancer or is that testicular cancer?
you made me think for some reason when you said that of No Shave November. And I was like, that doesn't have anything to do with cancer. No, I mean, there might be, but you know, like, then this is, because my initial argument was, if we're looking for a cure for cancer and we're putting money towards cancer, why are we picking on specific types of cancer?
Yeah.
But then if it is about raising awareness to go get checked, then it makes sense to have, you know...
I've never thought about going to get checked for
one.
cancer.
Yeah, I haven't. Maybe you ought to with that fucking problem you've got.
I know, I was thinking I could have bowel cancer or something.
That's the dark. We shouldn't. No, but
that's
the annoying thing as well. It's like, I think it's good. I'm pretty much for it. I think that this is a good campaign, and I'm all for raising awareness of things. But you're also put in a position where you can't make light of it.
No,
you can't make a joke about it because people can't interpret that you're joking, because as soon as they hear cancer, it's like Muslims. Like we were saying, like as soon as I haven't even said anything, just said Muslims, and yet the hair on the back of your neck stands up. What's he going to say? And this gut reaction, this nervous reaction for a word, for this, we haven't even said anything yet. But it's the same thing when I say anything about cancer, because I was thinking, like, you know, I wonder if anyone's done any sort, and there has been the guys that did the, like, I'm going to put up a picture of my cock for, you know, whatever, but like, you know, I was thinking, you know, if I was to put up a picture and go like, look, I'm not wearing any makeup, you know, or if I was to say to one of my friends, it's a girl, I would say, take a picture of your arm. Oh, I'm going to close this off actually.
Oh, I'm there, Sam.
No, it's just whenever that's up, it usually glitches a bit. If I was to say, like, take a picture of your arm and
My name is Sam, and that's not all. Got a pretty good show with my good friend Paul, so listen up to the chairman of the board. I talk to him and he talks to me. We talk a lot of shit, but you get it for free, so don't complain, these gadgets cost a lot. So now we're at the end of the song, and everybody knows what's going on. What? So here we have the chairman of the, yes we have the chairman of the board. Because we're bored.
Because we're bored. Paul, we're live.
Are we live?
I've had to start it.
Have you actually started?
I've started. Don't worry about it. We'll explain why you're slightly late.
Well, I explained. I need to hand in a signal.
Oh, depends who's the signal.
Well, I need to apologise to the fans.
Explain to our audience why you're late, Paul.
Right, basically, there's a story. Today, I went for my lunch to Fraser's Bakery in Socky, right? This is...
I wasn't expecting a story out of this.
This is the opposite of a sponsor message. Fucking stay away from, I swear to God. I had a fucking chicken tikka roll or something, right? And it must have been undercooked or something. I've been to the loo about 4 times since about 7 o'clock, and I consecutively need a poo. Like, so after I finish one, it's like I'm chain pooing, Sam.
Oh, that's
I'm a
horrible.
chain pooer.
That's horrible. So he was in the toilet, and
the nerves were getting to me because I've got folks shouting at me to come and do a podcast.
as people know, I'm a bit of a time Nazi. I like at 9 o'clock start.
I've got nothing. I've got no notes or anything in here, Sam.
11. No, that's fine.
Listening.
That's fine. I've got a few
I
notes.
put in the ciders in the freezer, Sam. What if they explode during the course of this podcast?
What if what explodes
The
during
ciders. They'll no freeze in 2 hours.
right,
that much
right. No,
in
no,
2
no.
hours.
I think you were trying to make a joke about something else. Hi everyone, my name is Sam Vallely. This is
Paul Quigley. Ryan Green actually texted me. No, he didn't text me. He sent me a message saying we should start with hello for everyone as a start-up thing.
See,
I forgot to say it because I was preoccupied.
He's trying to take over the show now. I'm not digging it. No, we're not doing it. Fuck you, Ryan.
Fuck you, Ryan.
Oh, that's so weird. I'm looking over there because that's where the camera usually is. I should be looking down here.
Ah, it's weird. It's weird seeing it at a different angle. Mine's my mic looks squints. It looks like I'm on a boat.
Yeah, that can't be helped. Don't worry about it. So welcome to the Chairman of the Board, episode 5. Episode 4 did really good. Like we got. Like,
I was looking today, and that was our most viewed episode was episode 2, and it was 158, and episode 4 reached 158 today as well.
But in all fairness, like, it doesn't matter. Like
Nah.
we're kind of doing this for us, and that's
Aye,
what
but it's just quite cool, like, to see the kind of numbers go
is,
up in
it
that.
is,
Do you know
it's
what I
fun.
mean?
It's fun if people are watching it, getting any sort of enjoyment out of it. But just to reiterate again, like this isn't. You're not necessarily